been a great just set of games that's gone, like you said, weekend after weekend, meta through meta, right? So, and again, this is our final taste of competition and lead up to what is the FNCS, which is going to be the grand event of the season.
And here we go. Game number 1 is underway. The bus has launched. The players are loading in. You said season to season. And just to put some extra context on that, this is season 4. We started in season 2. We had 2 Ninja Battles events. Then in season 3, we had 1. And season 4, we've already had 1 now. So literally 3 seasons. Kind of crazy for that. But regardless, Stark Industries uncontested. I'm looking around on different spots. Doom's Domain definitely has quite a number of people. And Misty Meadows also uncontested. That's going to be Scented, Edgy, and Commandment.
100% here. And just take a look at the dirty docks there. It's Miro, Day, Reverse 2K. This is a drop spot that they have known true. And they're strong at it. They're good at it. But like we said, it's going to be a matter of taking your time, getting your loot together, and then battling it out on those rotates later into the game. Miro specifically is one that is, one to kind of falter in. But hold up. This is the Doom's Domain. This is the action that we want to see. Leshy and Savage are already touched down.
Yeah, they're touched down on the side that Zayt, Saf, and Stretch usually like to go to, and that's why Saf and Stretch are tucked deeply within this one building. And I think it's going to be Benji Fishy against Zayt up in the building all the way down to the south, and I just saw Zayt go down, so Benji gets the better of him, and he's already going to dance that one through. That's a quick push now from Stretch and Saf to try to recover something in this game.
Yeah, they got to come back quickly here, hopefully get a quick frag. And there was 2 on this side of the map, and I'm assuming that battle went down in the other portion of the zone there of the Doom's Domain, the other half of this drop spot. And now they can't get together. They can't wrap this up quickly. By the time Benji gets here, it's going to be too late. Just looking at the map, Benji is coming in. Yes, he's coming from the outside in. Because of that, yes, Stretch has to get in this battle. They got to wrap this up quickly. They're running out of time.
Benji dashing over. Saf is down. They've jumped Letshi and Mr. Savage on both sides, but Stretch will get 1. Still an opportunity here, 1 versus 2. Got to get the Siphon if he can. And that he will, but Letshi is firing off on him on the other side. Benji through the window too. Can he recover? He gets a little bit of mats, but no. Right off the bat, right out of the gates in week number 5, the EU guys come over and dominate Zayt, Saf, and Stretch.
And guys, this is impressive, right? When we say EU coming over, they're playing with all kinds of disadvantages. So big come up for them. Benji to win the one-off against Zayt. I can only assume that he got the better drop on him, and at that point finished him off with some AR gunplay that we didn't get to see off screen. But I mean, the rotate in was just enough here now, and that's it. That's the that's part of the story that we know is going to unfold here. We don't see Mega Dubs and Bizzle though, so they're doing something different this time around.
Yeah, that could be a sign of things to come. But what I do want to kind of mention is this is a surprise, actually, to Zayt, Saf, and Stretch. Of course, they knew that Mr. Savage, Benji, and Letchi were going to land here, but if you recall last week when Zayt and Saf were playing with Unknown, they were letting this not be, a full-on drop spot battle directly on that southwestern side. They were landing up at this castle. And so without that knowledge that there's a possibility that they might land on us, they're not being as vigilant with their drops. They're not necessarily going for the full send on these buildings, recognizing that there's a possibility Benji will land on Zayt. And so surprising them out of the gates and showing, hey, game 1, you guys got to be ready because we will switch things up on you.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of counterplay there, especially the fact that you land a little closer, right? Give them less time to kind of sort out their loot, and they cut them off, right, from access to the rest of the map. But here's the look at the Stark Industries now. Booga, Jamper, Avery getting their loot on here. So much material to go around for a full trio. Metal, brick, and all the other sorts. You can see getting super comfortable here. Judging by the shield, had a little bit of an issue. Probably run-ins with the bots here, but outside of that, they do have this entire drop spot to bounce back off.
Outside of the small practice tournament that occurred yesterday, they haven't, even when they have uncontested Stark, haven't necessarily been having the biggest of performances. And I'm still struggling to attribute a reason to why, because on paper, Stark Industries uncontested, one of the best spots on the map. Booga, Jamper, and Avery, 3 of the best players in the region. So I still struggle to put reason behind why they're not necessarily doing so well, but hopefully today is a turn in the page for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. Something has to start clicking for this squad here. Like we said, or I mentioned at the start, you know, there's no excuse. You have this kind of draw spots to yourself. You know, results can be produced. You see your peers doing it on different regions. You see them doing it just on different lobbies, right? You got to find the formula.
My next question is definitely going to be, where did Dubs, Mega, and Bizzle decide to switch to, given the fact that we obviously did not see them at Doom's Domain? I'm going to guess, as we see Zexro, Macwood, and Calc, I'm going to guess that Bizzle, Dubs, and Mega went over to the west side of the map, over next to kind of Sweaty Sands by the castle area. That's kind of where he landed in Chipotle series, and I'm going to think that Bizzle was like, I kind of like this. This worked out for me, because they did play significantly well with whatever mix of players he had next to him that time.
Yeah, it could have just been a test of concept. And you know, if you get a little idea, or you find a draw spot that can be a great alternative, you know, why not put it into play before the FNCS, before things start to ramp up again? This could be, once again, just another opportunity to kind of test the concept, test the draw spot, have some backup routes, because when it all hits the fan, when those grand finals day come around, you don't want to squander those opportunities. You don't just want to throw it away for rivalry and, of course, for the drama. You want to try your best here. Results do matter at the end of the day. XSET's team, though, these guys do a nice spread. They do a lot of coverage over by the Fortilla, and now they're coming on in. You can see they get a bit of the Rainbow Rentals loot on the rotate on out. Sharks here, is it possibly by himself?
No, he's really by himself. I don't think
he lost his teammates.
So Nosh, Zypha, and Jared FPS probably coming out of Sweaty Sands as usual. Not noticing the easy pickup. These guys actually were fighting against XSET quite a lot at Holly Hedges, so already could have been an engagement with these guys. But no, 0 elims. So that's not the key.
Yeah, something definitely went wrong for the XSET boys, though. For Shark to be by himself, no longer having his two teammates rotating through. I'm not even sure if he has any key cards, but if he doesn't, this is going to be a close one for him. Rough game in front of him. Quite an uphill battle.
Speaking of uphill, that's the position they're going to be trying to get to. Stark Industries, we talked about it a lot last week, but being able to get up there as fast as possible gives you such a benefit later on in the game as the zone continues to pull in whichever direction it goes. I think what we've noticed about end games at Stark is oftentimes it will pull up these elevation spots where you can just literally walk up rather than off of the cliffs.
The one great thing about their inventory is that they do have bounces already, at least on Zypha's perspective here. So just with that, they have a clear exit path. Worst case scenario, they'll be able to do what they need to from their forwards. Outside of that, though, do like the harpoon in the inventory as well. Great for squads base style game modes, right? Pick up those refreshers later into the game. Do allow you to minimize your risk as it comes to those rotates. Here's Mr. Savage back in as well after the reboot from Leshy and Benji here. All just looking to max out their material. Do have that favor of the drop or the zone right on top of them now as well. You can see, I think that's XSET Shark, the lone cursor there on the map, rotating north, just trying to stay clear of what is the EU boys here in Doom's Domain.
I'm potentially trying to get a reboot back up for AV and Knights, who's inching closer. Mr. Savage, if he spots that, if he hears the reboot, that's for sure. These guys will not let any opportunity like that for free elims go unnoticed. Even sometimes letting the reboot happen and getting an extra 3 points. Regardless, one thing that went wrong for that team last time, even though they were getting, they were getting towards end games multiple times, they ended up fragging out multiple times in little box fight skirmishes on Stark Industries. They just didn't quite have the setup necessary to go forward. So this is the first time out of the last 6 games that I've seen for them in Ninja Battles that they will have a fantastic setup, because that fight against 8 Savage Stretch was just so clean.
And yes, look, Shark still hovering around that reboot van like you mentioned. He might have those cards, not too sure. But if he does, he's going to want to do this nice and late. Any indicator to the EU team here, and it's over. Regardless, though, it should be about time for everyone to rotate on out. No, I'm gonna go ahead and assume he does not have those cards. He's running away, steering clear, trying to hit a dead side rotate. Honestly, it's just the best that he could do. It's the only thing he really could do in this situation, because the moment someone sees him, it's over. Most like. Here's an interesting team though: Nate Hill, Funk, and Sticks. Good to see Nate and Funk back at it here. Nate Hill's been a bit of a break from competitive.
Yeah, I think during FNCS solos, a lot of people took breaks. I know that they were playing, and they've been playing through all the DreamHacks and all of that too, but not necessarily focused solely on that and this aspect of the game. They found themselves a nice little spot. I wonder if there's any teams actually landing up here. I didn't see it off of the first drop, so there could potentially be some extra loot somewhere on this lake. Most likely not, though. All they're going to do is refarm and start to look towards the future. The zone going to continue to pull up northeast, given the position that it's at, towards Steamy Stacks.
I will say one thing that's very interesting, just judging and breaking down the kind of resources that they have here coming into this game. They have a ton of shield, right? Not a lot of resource. Just shows that when they see the zone pull towards Starks, how many squads are, they just changed the game plan, right? No one wants to be below it, so you got to get up and over it. Forces those early rotations in and puts teams in some interesting positions like this that quite desperately need all this resource here just to bounce back. That's how they're going to end up eating up this cabin house here. So, bit of a refresher for them and a new home now for maybe a zone or two.
Wonder who that team up on the big mountain is. They're going to cause chaos for a lot of different teams. Problems, at least, on the rotation. We mentioned these big bases up early, reserving space and making it impossible for you to get close to others. It is Furious, Ronaldo, and Illust. Not necessarily reserving the most because they're all clumped up together, so other teams will be able to encroach unless they really hit their accurate shots, which is a possibility from these guys.
Ronaldo here trying to just find some pop shots with the high ground positioning that they do have. And like you said, it's all eyes on. Just a matter of holding people out, buying some time. And honestly, these tags do matter because as the zone goes on, we know possibility for surge, especially when you come towards that 5th and 6th zone, is very likely. It's very high. Those rotates here. Here's Nick A30, replays and Punisher. Trying to get their groove on now. You saw them engaging in a couple tags with Nate Hill and Funk when they're on the rotate. Finding their shots.
Step down south, it does pull northeast even further. Not all the way up to Steamy Stacks, but halfway off the edge and halfway on of Stark Industries Island. So yeah, as the shot is showing us, this is a big threat. I love the positioning for both Reverse 2K's team and Bogo Jamper and Avery's team. They went as center as possible as soon as they looted up. And now this gives them the ideas to fire up down on everybody else who's not there. Teams like Replays, Punisher, and Nick A30. These guys are stuck. And they have 3 of the best teams in the lobby who have picked such good positioning, trying to spot them. Thankfully, they hug the wall and make it very, very hard for them to have any line of sight unless they want to endanger themselves.
And that vehicle might have been a big mistake. That's going to give the definitely... Yep, the sound effect up above, and now they look straight down looking for any angles. They're going to find a bunch of tags here onto Nick. That pepper effect, though, they did get very, very deep into the zone for what it's worth. Opted to stay below, though. Not taking the risk or the early, I should say, safe play, right? The safe bets to go up the mountain while they had the opportunity to.
Tried for a second, opted not to. Meanwhile, further in towards the center of not only the zone, but in towards the mountain. Let's see Mr. Savage and Benji back up on top of that little lodge that they had based up in. Near Nosh, Zypha, and Jared. As well as Blake, Cease, and Keys. 2 threats. Or 2 targets, potentially, too. A lot will depend on how this 4th zone pulls. Most likely, in my view, it's most likely going to pull center. So those teams on the edge should be okay, as long as you're not replacing crew who are down below.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? They're one of the only teams on that mountain, so it is going to be the scariest for them moving forwards. Here, though, Leshy, Benji, Savage do find their way into the new zone. They're playing that northern portion. I'm looking at the map here, trying to see if I saw the lone cursor, which would have been Shark. I don't.
Yeah, unless he's underneath one of these teams, almost no chance that he actually made it in, unless he did get a reboot off late.
I was gonna say he has to be in. He's throw 18 out of 19 squads, so he's somewhere in this Fortnite world. The only 100%. Team wiped out is literally Zayd's squad. They're gone.
I am worried if the zone continues to pull over for Mr. Savage, Benji, and Letchy, given the fact that we already saw two really strong teams in the middle of them and where the path goes. They will have to leave their lodge, but not by too much, and they might actually be able to build over and give themselves height in fifth zone with the Doom's Domain mythic items. That's definitely scary for a lot of these teams. Dubs, Mega, and Bizzle, they're in right on the edge. They can look back over here at this massive congestion. 3 teams on top of them. Reverse 2K and crew are one of them.
This is going to be rough for everyone in the back of the zone right now. Avery, Booga, Jamper, based up right on top of what is 3 other trios. Big cluster there. Here comes the movement on now. I think that was a shockwave from the back portion. Another team shockwave. And yes, everyone now trying to scramble out across. Seems
so
like
one of those teams, I think all the teams made it. I think one of them went down. It's not going to be Reverse 2K, Day, and Miro. They're in. Skittles, Coop, and Chap have made it in. They're right next to Avery, Booga, and Jamper, which is quite interesting, given that Chap used to play with that trio. But times are changing. Chap is now on cloud 9. Times are definitely changing.
100%. Fortnite landscape ever changing in game, outside of game, on the rosters. We're seeing that here now. You asked what team went down. It was actually Acorn and Jack. They rotated underneath the mountain, I believe, with Slacks there. So they're going for the low ground take here. That's a huge risk right now. And yes, look, they're right down there on top of Replays and team.
Risky. Very, very risky. We'll see if that ends up costing them. If fifth zone pulls over to where Mr. Savage and crew are, inside of this island, that might spell the end of them almost instantly.
Booga just looking for information right now. Once again, sitting on top of the cluster of all the players, but it doesn't matter. Now it's up to the Fortnite gods to grant the half in, half out somewhere across the zone here. Everyone on the eastern portion is praying that it pulls down right now. And even if it does, I mean, yeah, there it is. Okay. But I was going to say, even if it does, the cliff lip now is going to be just stacked with enemies.
Could be a blessing and a curse. Again, I was for a second saying this is really good for them now because they don't have to worry at all, not only about position, but they're not going to get fired upon. They can maybe even engage on a safe little box fight with that other trio, but highly doubtful that they'll do that. You can already see they're trying to set up. Acorn, Jack, and Slacks have pushed their way up the mountain and are right on the edge. Team Shockwave here from Booger, Jamper, and Avery to land right next to each other, and yes, they get into fifth zone. And they choose a mid-ground layer, and Booga gets chunked for 50 for no reason. I think he could have just landed outside of that box and made his own and been safe, but instead opts to edit down into Jamper.
Seemed like a little bit of a communication error there for sure. Figured out what layer they were going to be on. It was Calc, Macwood, and Zexer who landed closest to them. And that's a team that will take a mid-game box fight. We know it. Here, though, Crims opting to go up the mountain. They put in the resources to get on up, just in case he finds his way to his crew now.
This is rotating by next to a solo Kanata, not with Bucky and Creo in this game. I believe I actually read that their power went out, so it's only Kanata for them, unfortunately. Nature of online competition sometimes. Still moving though. I did see somebody get picked off on the outside. That was Jared FPS. Down below here, these guys are hoping and praying. Cascade Unknown and also smacked with the other team down here. Replays Punisher Nick A30. If this pulls back up the mountain, and it doesn't, they have a huge sigh of relief and almost have gotten away scot-free for the last probably 2 minutes because of the choice that they made, which we were thinking was definitely not going to work out for them. Down below now, they have to start playing the game.
Yeah, it's just so unlikely that you pull zone favor like this. And now the question is, what do you do with it, as they have decided to do a little bit of a late rotate? Okay, finally they do get in. Nick A30 is going to get split from his squad. Take a look at the wide shot, though. Everyone has to disperse. Everyone has to shockwave, crash pad, anything to get on out. The last to go, though, is High Sky and crew. They're up in the air. A couple beams are going to come in. None are going to land, though. High Sky, Twexy are going to get in nice and safe. There goes Scope, meeting up on the layer as well. They have a fairly clear layer in front of them. This looks great. Here, though, the first team to touch in was Smacked, Casker, and Unknown. They're going to lead the push here, lead the rotate on out.
For good reason. Remember, they were here down below with Nick A30 and crew. Macwood, Zexro, and Calc, though, are on height. We saw them shockwave across pretty early and continue to battle for it up above. Now Smacked, Unknown, Casker up at the front, though. They can start to look back. Smacked has finished the tunnel. He's looking for opportunities. Still, Calc, Macwood, and Zex are on height.
And you see Acorn just lighting up the feed right now. He's going to find Nosh. Smack's going to find replays as Slacks follows up onto Sticks there to finish that crew up as well. And it seems like Nate Hill and company might have been all wrapped up and taken out the game, as did replays too. And that's how quick the tables can turn. Now looking at who's in front of the zone here. It's Dubs, Mega, and Bizzle trying to catch up, playing the outer edge. I'm seeing Storm Surge ring as well, so that's the big fear of squad-based game modes. Is you're very likely to just have this issue here. Casker and company, though, 2 Elans. Not a problem for them.
All right, next to another team. Miro picks up Eclipse. Scope, Twixie, and High Sky have taken height from Zexro and Calc, and I believe they've lost Macwood, so they have to go on as just a single duo. They're going to continue to be fired upon by the team on height. This might be an easy game for them because I don't see anybody else with the idea at all to take height from here. No shockwaves firing up on the side. Nobody even trying to pressure from second height. And they'll be able to fire upon, pressure the entire lobby. I think this might be an easy game for High Sky, Scope, and Twexy here.
It really could be. I saw Macwood and Zexra on second height, so they're right on that layer. Finally, someone does look up. It's a couple big shots onto High Sky, who does have minis to recoup, though, so he's going to bounce right back into the game. In the kill feed, though, you see Chat finally falls. Benji finds keys, so Benji's still in this game as well. And there it is, that shot of second height. It's a box fight. Zexro, Macwood, and Calculator looking to jump down onto Slack's Acorn. And Jack there. Calc is going to lose, though. He's going to get traded out. So they end up losing their exchange. It's not going to work out. And the high ground attempt was a fail, as Macwood ends up right back with Zexro.
They don't have any mats either to really do much more in the game, too. They're going to try to sneak their way through. I still saw Edgy up in this game. Benji and Mr. Savage are up, too. Macwood with an engagement on the backside of this. They're split now. He gets into the other box. We still have Twexy and Scoped up on height. And they have nobody to really mess with at all. Zexro's going on to Furious right now, and still low ground battles happening over and over and over. They're even using the shockwaves as if it's season 3 to get people out of zone.
Finally now, High Sky is running out of material here, so High Ground is going to be forced to make a move. We thought they had a clear victory ahead of them, but it might just be crumbling here. The dream of High Ground, when you don't have material, forces you on down. Zexro finally falls now, and yes, there it is. Daze somehow turns the table and takes that height, and that's what happens when you do not have material, but it's a 3v1 firing range up above, and just wooden material is not going to be enough. Down he comes. You got to pay the price now, and yes, here comes the pickaxes. Will they be able to find it? Of course they do. Scope's going to be the one to take out Day. Finally, a little bit of a refresher, but so much Storm Zone was traded there into High Sky's health pool. Now down they go. 9 players still in the game, so a bunch of solos still standing here.
Yeah, that there is, but Acorn, Jack, and Slacks are still on low. They're going to start to fight against Furious. So many people just got launched in the zone. A ridiculous amount. Zone is 12 seconds away from closing, and now Slacks and Acorn in a 2 versus 2, potentially just 1. I think there might be a knock. There he is out in zone. He's going to trade. Oh! It's knocked out. And that was... Trying to look at it, it was smack. No, that feed is going off crazy, but still a first place finish for Acorn, Jack, and Slacks. We saw their position, how they went off of the side of that mountain. It really paid off in this game. They're able to save so much because nobody's firing upon them. And then that low ground play with all 3 alive in the final zone really makes it work.
Pulling that half in, half out, pulling that first full moving was definitely a blessing in disguise. And the biggest gamble you can ever try and attempt in this situation here is to go down the cliff straight up. And Jack had 8 eliminations, so something was clicking towards the end game, and it all works out for them. I think a 12 elimination victory royale right there. Huge game.
Yeah, that was massive. Let's take a look at some of the highlights, the big starting points. The team from EU taking out Saf, Zayt, and Stretch. Absolutely not even really an opportunity for Stretch to do much, and either of the other guys, as soon as Zayt went down to Benji Fishy, so that's definitely something to keep an eye out in the future. Macwood, Calc, and Zex off to a good start in this end game, but all of a sudden things went drastically wrong for them as they fell in 8th place as Zexer went down.
Yeah, you saw them use those utility movements super early. All the shockwaves are out and gone. I thought at this point, maybe for a second here, Scoped, High Sky, and Twexy would have gotten enough to take the victory with just the high ground alone, but it seems like the decision to jump down was definitely a big mistake here. Slacks, it was actually Slacks who was popping off. I thought it was Jack who had the 8 elims, but it was Slack here with 7 elims. You see how it's all gonna turn out. And there he gets bodied.
Getting pops, but Acorn will clean up. And you're right. 14 eliminations for them. 14 points plus the 10. 24 points. Off to a really, really good start. Given that, we've seen time and time again that the amount of points needed to win is only around 58 to 60 points. So with the 24 that they got in that game, that's already a third of the way there.
Yeah, definitely. But with 5 games, you don't have a lot of opportunities. So it's about consistency. We haven't seen anyone have a perfect stretch either, at least in the Ninja battle settings. Maybe it attributes to the amount of players that are, just landing there. It's much likely for other teams to be super comfortable and then perform.
Yeah. Well, we do have game number 2 going to be coming up soon. We have to take a quick break, though. And when we come back, we'll show you that game right after this.
I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, drifting apart. We're letting go, drifting apart. I can hurt you like you hurt me too, me too. We're letting go, drifting apart. We're letting go, drifting apart.
A massive game from Jack Acorn and Slacks. They put themselves up 24 points. A really, really good start in any Ninja Battles event. And for them, they won the first Cash Cup of the season in NA East. So potentially this could be them all of a sudden coming out to a strong start and starting to roll away. We still have 4 more games to go, though.
Hey, that's a team that gets hot and cold, and when they're hot, they're on one right now. And you know it, Jack and Acorn together, coupled with Slacks now, it's a power trio it's looking like right here. And I mean, we still have results to look out for, though.
Yeah, that we do. Let's take a look at what happened in game number 1 and where these guys all ended up placing. I'm hearing, yes, okay, so we'll get that in a couple seconds, but we already know one result. Let's start to talk about a little bit of the other guys, right? Because we did see Dubs, Mega, and Bizzle make it all the way to the end game. We still don't know necessarily what their path was, but that's not somewhere we have seen them since these fights have really been breaking out. A turn in the page for them for sure, right?
Yeah, this is a team that has been pretty much losing their draw spot, and when they're not, obviously you're facing what is, the struggle of trying to make together a good game from a long, drawn-out early game battle, which is not easy to do for any squad to bounce back, especially in full-based rosters and maps. Another team as well that had a bit of a questionable start is Exet. Right? What happened to Shark, Knight, and Av? Did they rotate into Nosh and Crew? I don't think so. I think we kind of boiled that down because they didn't have any elims, but there was a squad clearly that took them out early.
Yeah, that's definitely something we'll have to pay attention to, or if there's something else going on with that XSET team. Regardless, we'll see what happens in game number 2, and we'll get the actual situation for them nonetheless. But we do have the stats. We do have the leaderboards up, especially for game number 1. This is the only game so far, so let's take a look. Obviously, at the top, I'm expecting to see Jack, Acorn, and Slacks, and yes, and it's only 22 points, actually, so we misdid the math slightly. Unknown, Casker, and Smacked once again, though. 16 points for them. That is also a pretty good start for this team.
That is pretty massive. That's not too bad, man. Unknown, Casker, and Smacked. We saw that they were one of the first teams to get that early rotate as the zone pulled downwards, and it seems like everyone who was down there did pretty well. I think outside of... I was trying to see if Nick A30 and Crew managed to get some big points here for the first page. Doesn't seem like it, but not too bad of a start either for Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lashi, who picked up 5 points.
Yeah, very good start for them, but it all hinges on taking out Saf and Stretch from the veteran trios very, very fast. And I don't know if that's going to work out. Regardless, here's the rest of the page. Clipsay, Class, and Crims, they had a rough time getting up that mountain in general in 5th zone, and then coming off of it, they spent so much. So they'll only get 2 points from eliminations. And then regardless, all the way, I mean, still, Nate Hill, Funk, and Sticks did make it towards the end game. Booga Jamper and Avery did make it towards the end game. 0 points for both of those teams. And they're going to have to try to figure something else out, because I really would expect that at least Booga Jamper and Avery's team would have done something out of the position that they had.
Yeah, not only that, they played exceptional yesterday. Literally were just coming out of what was a practice style tournament to, test the waters, right? And they won that. So, exercising championship strides, but not when it matters the most, not today at least. Hopefully the luck is still in their favor for the FNCS to come, but still, questionable start for them. 0 points and the zone favor up until the halfway mark.
Yeah, it seems like maybe the different style of game here where everybody has an opportunity to really set themselves up in a really good manner might be affecting them a little bit. We're about 20 seconds away until game number 2 starts, and we still have these questions on our minds about that and how it unfolds, because I guess in a sense, like, this game is a modified zone rule. I mean, there's none of the rule, but we do have everybody getting as stacked as possible leading into the end game.
Yeah, it's the best you can ask for a Fortnite endgame simulation of what would be, as competitive as it could possibly be. And set yourself up, right? Taking your entire team, saying, hey, let's get loot, let's put ourselves here. What happens, right? How do you perform the best? How do you make the best decisions?
Yep.
That's what's on the line here. That's what Ninja Battles kind of simulates. It's high tier Fortnite with relatively comfortable, maxed out, kitted squads, all just evolving into that endgame.
Well, let's get ready for game number 2. Jack, Slacks, and Acorn are off to a very good start. We'll see what they can do in game number 2, and then all eyes on Doom's Domain. All eyes to see if the org mates of Benji Fishy against Zayt will end up winning once again. This is definitely going to be a very, very fun fight over and over and over today. And what I'm seeing is nobody's going towards the castle. one more time. So it's going to be another full-on West Side drop. How does Zayt, Saf, and Stretch change what they're doing for this?
And this is a little bit of a change here. Now we do get to see Ninja, Arkham, and Clicks finally hop on in. They have Sweaty Sands uncontested to themselves here. Did miss game number 1, we were aware, but now we get to see them in action. This is going to be the treats of the day. So thank you guys to everyone that tuned in, right, from Ninja's channel. Y'all watching at home. This is game number 2 now.
Uncontested Sweaty Sands clicks over his teammates, normal teammates of Nosh and Zypha, which is actually quite interesting, and they get the full-on spoils from this. We'll have to see how Ninja adapts to the playstyles of Arkham and Clicks. I think Arkham probably one of the most adaptable players because he's performed in all of these different seasons.
Yeah, and he's done it on different regions now as well, which is not something a lot of players can say or claim at all, at least in the Fortnite space. So that's why at the top of the show I was definitely giving a lot of credits to Arkham because he deserves all the praise here. This is a different stretch, though.
Yeah, different. Lecce and Benji went all the way over towards the east side, take the basement building and also the modern house. While the rest of the other team looked like they went over towards Doghouse first and Brick side, so they went up to the castle side. Compared to last week where it was Benji, Savage, and Lecce coming on this side entirely. So they kind of switched places, but it's not as cut and dry as that because clearly they're fighting for as much as possible.
I like this, though. I feel like it's a mind game in a mind game, right? Not letting them read the play, keeping them on their toes. And now that means just moving forwards. They have to continue to be flexible with these drops here. Stretch is going to go through the portal there. Now meets up with Saf. Looks like there's one player inside the house, possibly 2 here. Who is it? Oh, already. Yes, Savage and Leshy have gotten inside. Here comes Benji.
And Dr. Doom is in the castle right here. I don't think anybody directly landed on the castle, so he's still up and active. And I think they've just found him. Yes, they've got him. The EU guys have got him. They now have all of the, I guess, incentive here to stay as far away as these guys as possible and just get towards the vault. But you know Zayt, Saf, and Stretch are going to try to pressure them for as long as they can.
And there goes the last sound off right there. The last portal. Rotate on out. That's going to zap them to the other portion of the map. Now they have full control of at least the first dibs there to the vault. You know they're going to trigger that. They're going to build the big metal walls. They're going to create a standoff here. The problem is how quickly will they be able to pick up all the chug splashes here yet. Notice Leshy and Savage outside, just ready to play defense in case they have to. Benji's the one inside, vaulting up the loot.
I'm surprised how fast they got this open with no pressure at all. Saf finally trying to get in, but way ahead of his team and dueling off against Mr. Savage. Box to box. Stretch is going to take his own. Yes, that's against Lecce on the side, and he's down. Benji will come back, not get tagged entirely. But now with 3 versus 2, this is looking very difficult. No space for the EU guys to really work around and away with.
Not at all. And I see Savage trying to work with the combat here, so still a tough loadout as well. Possibly, I think, not ideal by any means. Benji Fishy still rocking that green pump too. It's a 3v2 situation. Zayt did have to back up, though, don't forget, because he was tagged up pretty substantially there by Mr. Savage. Winnable, still.
Right now, the idea is to keep them contained as much as they can. Wait until Zayt gets re-healed and go from there, but they've given up the space. But Saf will just, instead of trying to chase, they're going to just open up and get towards the vault here. Now I'm worried for Zayt. If he gets spotted out by himself, this could get risky. Stretch is paying attention, though, to the possible quick reboot onto Lecce. It's not going to happen, though. 2 dinks will force them back into the bottom of the castle.
Yeah, and those are massive headshots right there. You saw the 40 rings, so that's at least 80. That's the shield ripper there. Benji is going to get tagged again. Talk about the shield ripper. Saf is going to greet him with something serious. And now Benji has nothing left in the tank. He's down below. Doom's bomb's going to come out. It's not going to connect, though. Savage hits his own wall, and he has to run off of the builds that he set on fire. This is looking like it's all going downhill really quickly for Savage and Benji here now, who are back to back against the wall here, trying to figure out how to beat the NA trio that is Sav, Zay, and Stretch now.
With the building all burning down now too, things are looking like they'll be able to flush him out. Saf will go quickly though, once again by himself, but he challenges both, and the trade is good. Stretch now on the backside too. Zayt's gonna come from the front. This should be over, but I think they made their way up. Stretch is not trading as efficiently as Saf though, and he'll have to back up once again.
It's insane to see how much damage a player like Savage can do if you let your guard down. It just shows you these guys are not free 50 pots. It's just not gonna be free, not ever, against Savage and Benji. Look at this. Benji turns it around, but no, gets punished big time. And now Savage has to follow up. He does, but no, cannot clutch up once again. And still though, valiant effort.
So not as clean though for Zayt, Saf, and Stretch. They've wasted the entirety of that first zone looting phase fighting. And this is what basically happens now. There is a lot of shields. There is a lot of spoils inside of that vault, but it already wasn't that great of one because you saw Mr. Savage rocking the combat. In terms of shotguns, you're not getting what you want out of that, and you're not getting the time right here. Thankfully, I think they have zone favor, so it shouldn't be the biggest of deals. What I am worried about is a potential push from the Team Solo Gamers, Macwood, Calc, and Zex, but that's definitely not looming on the horizon. We saw that towards the tail end of Ninja Battles last time.
Yeah, and if this was a filled lobby, that fight right there, this probably would have been the end of the tournament for them. You'd assume a team would be already rotating in or something like that. So they get away with it this time here into game 2. Favor, of course, to the limited amount of players that's in the game right now. Here's a look at Clicks, Arkham, and Ninja, though. Comfortable coming out of the sweaty sands. Fully loaded, fully maxed out as well. Blue shotguns at least minimal, I think, for the entire trio now.
Little driver switch. These cars over the last couple of weeks have become super meta in these first and second and even third zone rotations and trios. Sometimes even down the line. But in trios, you don't let that happen too much. And it's a little too risky given the explosion factor that could happen. Here's our game 1 winners, Acorn, Jack, and Slacks coming out of the Slurpy Swamps, which has been all 3 of those guys' home throughout all the different seasons. Here's another one of those guys too. Kanata, Creo, and Bucky all in the game. No power issues this time.
Little bush strategy here from Acorn, Jack, and Slacks. Not trying to bring too much attention to them. Seemingly, though, I do like this low ground positioning. And no, they're going to get punished. The team that they did not realize was behind them. All of a sudden, those shots, they go off. The tracers are followed back, and they're tracked down.
Second zone reveal that's going all the way towards the Misty Meadows side of this map. Acorn, Slacks, and Jax will head back down south towards the power plants. And up and over this hill. A big winner here for this zone, at least the first 2 zones, is Scented, Edgy, and Commandment. Would love to see what they're up to and how their loot is going. More people hitting the little dead side rotate over towards Slurpy Swamps. Nosh, Zypha, and Jared FPS right now are on the tail end of our leaderboard.
I am wondering still where they're landing, right? You typically see Nosh at the sweaty, like you said. Plenty of space, though, on the map, of course, so they're going to be spaced out just a little bit here. Looking for that dead side rotate, like you mentioned, going way south now. They're going to find a boat nearby. This is the perfect kind of team to take a fight on, one that's exposed out on the water like this. Yes, the shots are going to connect. They're going to be good. A couple body shots just from Zypha's perspective. You can only assume that Nosh found them as well.
That boat team has a skilled driver, my goodness. Instantly building it into the curve, the 360 they hit right back up the swamps. Wow, okay.
He was
I
ready.
see you.
He was ready for that one. It's a nice clean shot. Great rotate in. Crimson Clip staying class. We didn't get to see much of them in the previous game. Coming out of game one. The team that fell a bit early. Let's see though. Trying to cut across now. Just looking at the map, judging by the map, all these mountains are not taken, not claimed at all. So they're gonna have a free cut way down south if they choose to right now, which is probably gonna be the best bet. You want to get towards those mountaintops if you can. I think the zone's gonna go that way. You can see there is a base way off in the distance. Yep, Eclipse is gonna go for the Hail Mary snipe. Nope, not gonna connect. But still.
Last time this team struggled with positioning, even close to that 4th and 5th zone, not getting up over Stark was devastating for them. The amount of stuff that they had to spend, and the gamble didn't even really pay off because of it. Reverse 2K a day and Miro coming around the side of the map and trying to position themselves up on a mountain, but they're going to wait now for the zone to show where they have to go next, whether it's worth to push even further up towards the mountain or just stand their ground.
It's Smacked who's on the other side of the mountain with the sniper, looking to pop shots in. Dailies to rotate. Here's Dubs, Bizzo, and Mega. Arkham, Ninja, and Clicks do find their way to zone. It seems like Xset is a full trio this time around and all in the game.
Ninja!
So one thing I am noticing now, the only teams that have been taken out off the bat is the action at Doom's Domain.
Yep, that's accurate. Yes. Is there a follow-up point here, Mr. Monster D-Face?
The follow-up is that, I mean, like, they're the only guys fighting in this early game, right? They're the only ones that are getting taken out. So like, if you want to play for first, you know, like who's gonna switch it up, or like what are you gonna do, right? This is the problem that Zate's crew has been having every tournament.
Here's what's
like,
happening.
That's
Here's
what I'm
what's
saying.
Happening. Three players down. That's only Benji Fishy, Let's Mr. Savage. Everybody else is playing for the win. Those guys are not. Absolutely not at all.
Yeah, and I'm talking about the bigger picture, right? Like, this is happening every single tournament. Mm-hmm. A team that notoriously has had great grand finals appearances, great just track record, right? When we look at the greats, you look at the whole track record.
That's what they're playing for. Not necessarily this Ninja Battles, not necessarily the Chipotle event, not necessarily any of the cups that we've watched, FNCS warm-ups. Doesn't matter. For them, it's maintaining and grabbing back the Axe of Champions in FNCS. So that's what they're playing for in this tournament. Zate, Saf, and Stretch. The issue here for them is that they're not even fighting a team that matters in the grand scheme of things. You know, they're just trying to act like they're just trying to show that they can fight with the best no matter what. And honestly, it's not even working out for them given game number one. So this tournament specifically, I think that rep is going the opposite direction for them.
Definitely. Here though, Commandment. Scented. Trying to follow up now on the rotate here. Where is Edgy? He's got to be in front somewhere. Ooh, good shot. Find it through the window. Commandment's following through replays. Punisher and Nick A30's old builds there, just breaking through the wood. So bit of a widespread for the crew here on the rotate, but it's pulling north across that big body of water outside of Misty Meadow. You see there's a squad based out, stretched out material-wise across the middle of the lake, creating their own land.
Man, this car must be made of some sort of outer world metal. Protecting them against all sorts of bullets, no matter what. Protecting them all the way into the third zone. There they go, finally. Somebody taking some shots at them. The thing you got to be careful about with cars is a full trail spraying at one, that's like instantly, that thing is getting melted. That thing is blowing up like a gas canister and hitting all three of you for major damage.
And also, if you get hit in the tire, right, your vehicle flips, and that causes all kinds of chaos and more focus to come in if it already wasn't happening by other teams.
I like that. Your car just flips when the tire gets blown out.
Look at this though.
Doesn't
The
matter the
zone,
speed.
like these guys are running out of land space here. Once the zone hugs up, everyone on this back portion now is going to have a bit of a problem, as Ronaldo, Illis, and Furious have the big eyes inwards, and Class, Crimson, and Eclipse do as well. As they're on the island, they also have to move.
Wow. What a change, and I think what everybody was expecting in this zone. I think they were expecting it to pull down towards Misty Meadows when it was in second. And all of a sudden it pulls twice up back towards Lazy Lake. For a team like Ronaldo, Illis, and Furious, who I'm pretty sure are landing Lazy Lake, they've got to be kicking themselves for moving this much and trying to gamble on the zone position. Oh, this is bad. Avery, Booga, and Jamper are left. Oh, it's now just a Booga. And it's Clicks, it's Ninja, it's Arkham who box fight them on the side of zone, and they're still chasing. They're still trying to get in. This could be a huge win for them, but Booga now just leaving his team. Of course, the only decision that's possible to be made. Huge win though for Ninja, Clicks, and Arkham, but they leave Jamper. They leave the loot. There's something there potentially, but not the priority.
And it was actually Arkham who opened up this entire engagement here. He was going to find the first knock and thirst just off the bat as things kind of unfolded. Might have been a big pinch between High Sky there and Twexy too. As we saw, they were the only other team really close by in the mix of things. They might have also stolen away the loot that was Jamper's gear there, so team to keep an eye on. Arkham though going with the wide rotate here, back up the mountain. Ninja looking to get aggressive with the shots here, creating enemies with teams on the rotate right now. Uh-oh. Clicks is under pressure, though. It's Macwood, Calkin, Zexro.
You called it. They're making enemies, that's for sure. I don't know if it's necessarily enemies or just opportunities for Zexro, Mac, and Calc to pick up some easy elims. Saf and Stretch also very nearby. They've gotten themselves a little split in terms of different distance from each other, using the mystical bomb almost open up sight lines to others to maybe crack in.
That's the strength of the Doom's bomb there. The mystical bomb sets builds on fire. You can see one big bomb, one good bomb. It can bring in some serious attention to enemies nearby. Look at the burnt look all over the builds here.
Heard
Another
notifications
bomb
go
comes
off
in.
for Surge, by the way, which isn't what you expect in Ninja battles. At 5th zone, Nate Hill and Styx and Funk Bomb out to the hands of Mega Dubs and Bizzle. Entire 2 more trios just went down since the last time we really looked up at that player count. And next to Dubs, Mega, and Bizzle, it's Creo, Bucky, and Kanata. They don't want to expose themselves anymore because of the dangerous threats that may or may not be near them, given the information that they know.
And you can just hear the shots going down. Like there's a box fight, a really bad one going down just nearby. Mega Dubs can't even hop into it as they don't have their third. Bizzle's out of the game already, so have to be a little more passive with their half in, half out that they were granted. On height though, Saf, Zeta, Stretch managed to rotate on in, take that high ground over Calc, Zexro, and Macwood.
Oh, Clicks
An
in
interesting
trouble.
decision. I was going to say interesting decision as they were trying to get deeper in. Clicks, Arkham, and Ninja. They get split up now, and that's unfortunate, though. Clicks gets taken out here by the Exet crew.
That he does, split from his team, and not much you can do in those situations. Ninja gives over the mobility to Arkham. He still has bouncers potentially in his inventory too, so he can still move as he can. Furious is picked up Unknown. Oh, bouncer for... They bounced them out, actually. And Ninja's now down. Xset brilliantly worked that the crash pad down below. They're gonna even shake down. Arkham just has to clutch by himself. They don't have any... Okay, he does have shields, but he has to find the space to use it, and he's not gonna be able to do it. 10
He's running out
builds,
of
6 builds, 3 builds. A player in his box. That's the end of that. Another game I don't think they get any. Oh, they got the one, if I recall.
Yeah, they did. They ended up getting Jamper and Avery in that one. So
Right.
a couple points still. Could have been a lot worse. Big come up for Xset though. They needed that. Remember, they had 0 points from game 1, and now all of a sudden a few frags, and those chug splashes are going to pay very great dividend here as we are getting to that half in, half out now.
There's a big decision here. Remember, Macwood and Zax had height in the last game. They still have Shockwave split on all of their members, I believe. But big issue for them is Storm Surge before they can even try to attempt to challenge heights, which is Zayt, Saf, and Stretch. Ooh, what a shot from Zexo. He connects, but doesn't finish it off. But they don't worry about their surge issues anymore.
I'm just looking at the feed there. Saw Bucky find himself a frag on Nick A30. So already Creo Kanata still in the game, cooking up here. Let's see. Zexo crashes across, just barely misses an enemy box, and now he's struggling to get back to his teammates. He finally finds the home here, and it's still upwards toward that second height. Let's see. Macwood finally glances up. That high ground hold from Stretch, Zay, and Saf is so up there. Pretty much anti-Shockwave style. Illis is going to be the one on second height, though. As the Shockwave comes out, that's a white tag. And no, they're not going to find it as they all have to reload now. Xset's going to find Ronaldo, too.
The remnants of the Xset crew are still fragging. Illis and Furious were up, but we saw Illis go way out in the zone, looking for Slacks, looking for Acorn. Slacks is up. I don't see his teammates, though, so that's a rough spot for them. Commandment, Edgy are the only players left on his team. And I did see Scoped and Twexy get taken out. High Sky might be the last player remaining on that one. They were very far up the leaderboard. Oh, Commandment so close to engaging. But they're going to back away and now has to find a different layer. This is rough, though. Player in the box misses the shots, and he cracks right back against Commandments. Edgy now has to hold on so that they can get the heals off.
That might be the deciding factor right there. The refresher that he misses out on and the punishment that comes back. So unfortunate for him. Now let's see what Commandment can do. He's got a slither of health. Cannot mess with the zone here. Edgy's going solo dolo, playing for himself right now, trying to get out in the distance. Commandment is about as good as dead, but no, he's still ghosting nearby, sticking by like a shadow here. Has to pop a med kit. He will find the 10 seconds. That's actually so incredible, but no, a Shockwave disrupts just that. Now he has to shield up instead.
On height still, it's Stretch, Zayt, and Saf. They've been pressuring the entire game. Creo, Bucky, and Kanata full trio alive. Macwood and Zexo, I believe, has lost Calc. Same thing for Xset. This only had AV now alive as Day takes out Knights. They're continuing to fire down, and I think this might be wrapped up. Still 7 teams up alive, but I think the only full trio is here up on height. Potentially Creo, Bucky, and Kanata might have a face-off against them later on.
Bucky's been turning up as well, finding a bunch of frags. And as I talk about it, Commandment ticks over to the storm line there as well. And another point for Bucky's crew. On low ground now, Xset, V Bucky, V Creo. They're going to win on top. And Furious is by himself, but no, falls to Shark as well. And now Shark finds everyone in the low ground. They're done. It's Kanata by himself. It's Zexro and Macwood as well, just left alive. So remnants of the crew, all these trios here trying to do their best. LMG on height, though, from Stretch. My gosh, the disruptor.
That's brutal. Macwood goes down. Zexo left by himself. It might be Xset who end up winning the day after this, but no, Shark down as well. So all they have to do is clean up the spoils. They grab extra metal too, extra materials. Oh my goodness, what a pull from Stretch. Now a 1 versus 3. And almost impossible to see this going any other way, although he takes height. But with the mats that Stretch pulled, how much does this player have remaining? They're going to go down and start to fire out, but different layers and a lot of space down below. Oh gosh, this just got really dangerous for this trio.
It's got really interesting now. It's going to the last seconds here. They're trying to figure out how can we play this out for the possible heal off, for the possible disruption. Down comes the Doom's Bomb as well. Zexo still has heals, though. He's going to hit all of them. It might just be enough if he can find the Siphon here. He's trying to hold him out. Great edit, too. And Zexo wins because he had cabbages in the inventory.
Zexro just got a 1 versus 3 with nothing. With nothing. He had 2 cabbages. That's all he had. 1 Shockwave, 2 cabbages is all he needed, apparently. Against What's going on there? Zayd, Saf, and Stretch, they didn't even try to fire upon him when he took height in that spot. They didn't even try. They did not notice the time remaining on that final zone, and Zexro clearly outplayed. Wow. How did that just happen?
I was gonna say it seemed like just a bad call, right? If they would have just instantly continued the pressure while they were on that layer instead of the call to go down, I think things would have been differently. But how do you know if he has a teammate left, right? Players that the chaos that is the end game, right? Just lost in that little bit of counting who was left alive. I think was the difference maker there.
The math there should be very fast, though. They could see that they had, all players alive. There's only 4 left, and they had 3, so should have been easy. But regardless, still a good game for them. Nonetheless, yes, they threw in the final moments. I will straight up say that. They threw in the final moments, but at least they got to second place. At least they made something finally out of one of these games where they do well out of dooms.
Yeah, and they did catch a lot of frags too. You got to give them credit for that as well. I think it was about 8 or 9 eliminations there towards the end. Here's the highlights as we're just kind of catching up there. That was game number 2, guys. 2 different sets of teams are going to walk away here. That's going to change the standings quite a bit as well. We did see finally Xset stretch way far out and pick up a bunch of frags, as I'm mentioning them here. This is where you see Unknown, Casker, and Smacked fall. We didn't really get to watch this one actually on the feed, so that's a great catch up here. A couple different perspectives now.
This trio we definitely saw had some struggles. We didn't see Senta go down, but we saw Edgy basically being the last member remaining in that one, and Commandment struggling to get the med kit off, eventually goes down to zone. Xset down on low ground, we didn't see either. They had 5 eliminations up to this point, and AV really made it work down on low ground in the final moments to get even towards the final 3 teams remaining. Remember, it was AV and Shark. Shark got taken out. AV continued to take out Macwood, but still. Final moments here, they took out the final remaining players, pulled the mats. They had opportunities. Stretch trying to chase down Zexro, but no. He just backs away, almost even goes to the window edit to potentially get the siphon. But what a play for Zexro, backing away over and over. 2 cabbages is apparently all you need to win a heal off.
Hey, I mean, that's all it takes to have just a little bit more on the ticker there. I mean, you only get 10 seconds in those final moments, and that's how it's going to play out, though.
Well, there you go. So we didn't see Acorn, Jack, and Slacks in towards the end game. So that 22-point game that they had, we'll have to see how that all unfolds. We'll do that after a break. We'll get the standings and go into game 3. Who knew that all it took for Zexro to clutch up 1v3 against Zate Saf and Stretch his memories of Sundown back in his head? Instead of a bandage, pop a cabbage, Zexro, pop a cabbage, and it works out. It works out in game number 2 here of Ninja Battles. What a surprise. What is going like through your head thinking and watching that, Monster? Because to me, I just have questions.
Yeah, I was gonna say only in Fortnite. First of all, pop a cabbage would be a line in competitive play, but like honestly, it's just like you said, it was quite a choke, right? Like you have a 3v1 situation. You hear the shots going down. You saw the moments before that in the replay. It was Stretch raining down ridiculous amounts of pressure and fire. I think I can only assume that they thought, hey, these guys have to be weak. Just wait it out. We'll play it safe. But that wasn't the case here.
At the top of this game, it's not of any of the teams that you would expect at all. Bucky, Creo, and Kanata had a 17-point game somehow, 10 points from eliminations, and then they pushed up towards the final point threshold with AV, Rogue Shark, and Knight, Stretch, and Saf, as well as Ronaldo, Furious, and Illus to get those top 4 spots. So 17 points for them, 15 for AV, Rogue Shark, and Knight, Stretch, and Saf. Even though they got second place, only the 14 points off of high ground. There really wasn't much for them to be able to spot down below them.
No, that's what happens when he goes over those old builds as well. Just kind of clogs up all those sight lines. Another 0-point game though for Booga, Jamper, and Avers there at the bottom of the barrel this time around. Things are going to change up here though, as finally now you see there, I think, what was it, 12th place, Acorn and Jack slacks there, picked up a couple of points, just enough to hold the lead here. This is the overall standings now. First place still there, 25 points.
But it's consistency over everything. Ronaldo, Furious, and Illis, 10 points in game 1, 12 points in game number 2. That puts them in second place. But it's close. All the way down this top 5 right here, it is very close. Only the 7-point spread between first and 5th. Right now, of course, that's only game number 2, so we'll hope to see a little bit more of a spread so we can understand who actually has a chance right now. But even down to this page, I think we're still seeing an opportunity. What a big game for AV, Rogue Shark, and Knight, though, after missing game number 1. At least it was only Shark in the game. 15 points to put them back up in towards that top 10.
Yeah, definitely. But what's impressed me most is the teams that have chipped away both games with like a decent amount of points right up there, like Coop, Chap, and Skittles there. They had just enough. If they can continue that kind of consistency, they're going to be looking strong. As we're approaching these last pages, you can see the on and off on the points, right? You don't want 11 and then 1. You want to stay consistent through all the games, have some kind of formula that's going to work for you. And, you know, back here, this is just a big head scratcher for all of these squads, honestly.
Yeah, we'll see if things can change for them. Zypha, Nosh, Shared FPS need to find something different for them. They were obviously, you know, decent positions in that game trying to get through the dead side rotate, but I don't know quite what happened to them. Obviously, they had to come over Misty, the Misty Lake, but I don't know. All I'm thinking about right now is X-Ray 1v3. That's still going to be in the head for a long time. We still have to look forward to game number 3, though, and I got to ask you basically, who do you think is going to come out on top of this Doom's Domain fight? And we've already basically given our opinions. So who is it going to be in this game number 3?
I think I'm going to lean towards Zay and Crew there. I mean, it's already hard enough for EU, you know, the EU boys to do it. I think they got away with murder the first time around, and maybe we're going to see that continue to trend that way.
Yeah, so we'll see. I think it'd be very interesting to watch them actually land to see if they continue those mind games that you referenced in the last game. Regardless, guys, we have about 30 seconds until we get started. We're really right on time. This team always pushes the timing perfectly, so we appreciate that. As that minute clock switches over, we'll be in game number 3 and in for another opportunity for these guys to rise way up. I also have to think, we had a really good zone there for Scented Commandment and Edgy, but it was their end game, which really I don't think is what happens often for these guys. I think these guys are very consistent in playing that low ground and getting all the way through. I think there's more people maybe playing low ground this time that's causing them issues.
Yeah, it could have just been the way that zone played out. But yeah, for Commandment to not have a single frag, that's like what he's known for, right? Finding eliminations, key fragger in those final moments, not missing those shots. And he did that. Like, he just outright missed the shot. So he could just be off his game today. Maybe he didn't get enough sleep or something. I don't know. But for him to be missing those shots in those final moments, when that's like, he's known for that. That's how he rose to stardom, is those crazy pop-off clips, the clutch factor himself. Yeah, just not looking very good today.
Yeah, I think that at that point actually is maybe a little, we don't talk about it enough, is the form of a single player on one game can change the composure and way that an entire trio plays for the entire day, even though we are used to seeing them towards the top. In any case, it's just one day for this, but an important one too, because $25,000 on the line for first, which is what these guys are all shooting for. Game number 3 is on the docket, and we're straight into it.
Here it is. That battle bus is splitting up the map from east to west now, and it is going to favor the northern portion. So yes, Doom's Domain, Stark Industries, Craggy Cliffs, Sweaty Sands, all of these drop spots up top. Players are going to be able to touch down first, get a good take on the land here, and get the advantage of picking up your loot early on before the zone reveals itself. I can see already 6 crosshairs going towards the Doom's Domain. This is a look at Arkham, Clicks, and Ninja, though. They're chilling. They have this whole area.
Stop. Yeah, they have more than just even the Sweaty Sand split. That's what Ninja is realizing right now. That's why he's going off in the distance. Got to be careful. There is a red arrow, probably from the Salty Springs team coming out, but he finds the one llama in this area.
Wait a second. A lot closer than we expected.
Be careful though. It's Funk Bomb firing off. He lands on the one scan chest that's guaranteed, and he's already going to have to spend some of the stuff that he got out of that. I expected him to continue down towards the flopper house down south and then come into Sweaty Sands, but instead he just goes straight to it because of the little pressure that Funk Bomb exudes off of 100% chest.
Yeah, and if you know Ninja, you know he operates on a paranoid level, so I don't doubt that he doesn't want to be on himself looting right now.
That's what he said last week.
Yeah, he did. Here's Zayt, though. They look like they have control of the Vault this time around, at least this portion here in the loot route.
They have control of the Vault, but do they have control of Dr. Doom? I don't think so. He usually spawns on the north side of that, so in any case, he grabs the LMGs, both for him and Saf. Oh, they're going to go quick to the
they're going
castle.
straight. Here's the quick rotate. Yeah, this is the quick rotate.
That are stuck down in Doghouse, and they're going to quickly go up. There's going to be one of the EU guys paying attention here, but he already might have taken. Yes, he took him. Dr. Doom is gone. The vault key is yoinked. This play does not work out at all, and right back Saf goes into the cave to try to cut them off before they can open up the vault.
And that's what I was going to say. Once you saw the fire there, you knew, all right, Doom's been taken out. They're already gone. They've gotten away with the vault key card. Now, option 2, how do you counter that? You play the vault. You don't give them access to that major loot. And you hold the porta potty down, right? So that is the only option now if they want to battle for the vault here. This is a strategy for them.
Ooh.
Kind of cheeky, right?
Going up to the north side, they're going to go again out towards the backside of Doghouse and the gas station. This might be an opportunity here if they realize quickly. But no.
Oh, they're going back and forth.
They're changing it all up. Yeah. I think they might have just disengaged to the bridge. Yeah. For the first time ever, I'm seeing... What is this? Did they grow like some sort of sense that they want to actually win a tournament? Is that what just happened?
I mean, we see them put on the front all the time. I mean, just think about the whole interaction that happened. No, never forget that. All right, you know what? We spoke too soon. They had another strategy. We're seeing them pull all the tricks out the hat here. Yeah, they went to the bridge, all right, but they went for the rifts, and it's going to work out because now they are in the favor. The aggression coming out of Saf here as he finds all the tags. That is insane. What a play.
What a play, but it doesn't work out. They might have gotten the little tags on one of the 3 of those players, but they're quickly over back towards the vault. Now the cave is open. Now they might have the same situation that unfolded last time.
He doesn't care.
No way! He stretched right through. But he left. Zayt does not have the trust, and Stretch pays for it.
Zayt got out a little too soon there. This is entertainment at its finest. Another standoff at the vault now. They do have those LMGs, you can see. Oh, the gas canister comes in. That's actually massive right here. That's a smart play. Stretch gets the med kit off.
It's funny, you never would have expected the gas station to become a factor and controlling the gas station becoming a factor, but multiple gas canisters spawning over there. I've seen multiple teams start to play with those specifically to root out teams like this. The LMG control too is really, really good. Now they have all of the power to spray through, but multiple times now they get traded down. Stretch is 1 HP. Saf is gonna have to do a lot as both Zayt and Stretch trying to back out and heal right now.
Not only that, the tags, right? These guys are low on material, right? So all these shots, all the wood breaking, all the material that they're losing through the pressure of the LMG is huge. It was paying its way off. These peppers, though, are giving Benji the advantage to cut across and look for the angle now. He's going to have that little bit of high ground. No, they're gone. They're at the bridge. I see the crosshairs.
Yeah, there's one at the bridge. The other two are still here on the other side of Doom's domain.
No, they're gone. That was all 3 silhouettes. Those have to be the AI that are left. That was still a crazy play, right? You just when you think, oh, you know, maybe they're gone. No, instead they had a strategy. And this is the thing about, you know, just watching VODs, just checking replays, and you know, saving your plays. Like that's legit.
The
idea.
first thought I had when they, no way, are they about to do it again?
They're back. They're back.
No way.
Oh gosh. Okay, they're going north though. They know that this is gonna be clear, just based off of the way people land in this game here. Take a look at your leaderboard though, as the chaos is unfolding.
Okay, so opting to go up north. We saw them have a skirmish again. Well, actually, it was Mr. Savage and crew fighting up here, but there's extra loot here. They can heal back up and get back in the game. So ultimately, they still had wised up because they didn't really get any damage done onto them. Back to the rift play in itself, right? Going over towards the bridge, grabbing a rift, coming back. At first, when they did that, I thought they were gonna rift away and just generally trying to disengage because of what Zexro, Macwood, and Calc are known to do when First Zone is covering Doom's domain. They come here and third party so often. So getting away ahead of that and maybe coming back at the same time, that's kind of where the timing was. So that's what I was expecting, but instead they just see no Max, no Zex, no Calc in sight, and they're like, okay, let's just go back at it.
I mean, it almost paid off too. I mean, Saf hit some serious pump shots without getting punished at all, and it forced them to run away to the Volt. But either way, you saw how quickly that turned around once they had control of the chug splashes. Now, though, Mega Dubs and Bizzle rotating in late to Doom's domain. Okay, this is very interesting because we haven't seen their early draw spot. Could it be risky reels or something?
That's definitely Booga Champ and Avery firing upon them right now from Stark. Look at the distance that you can do that from. That's crazy. The car now has revealed Bizzle's position, and Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lecce are trying to posture to make sure that they can farm up before they do engage and make sure they don't get pushed themselves.
Crazy part about this is, I was going to say, one skin is all it takes for them to know this is not Zayt and crew. Now I think they just feel the advantage in the situation.
Scary moment right there when you're hearing the porta potties go off. I was wondering if it was one of the guys coming out of the vault, but no, it's not. They're disengaging. They're definitely fine. Just that little, small base that Lecce makes on top of Modern gives them the time and the room to back off and really, really refarm and get back into a spot where if they do get pushed, they can get fought, or they can fight. Because after Zayt and Saf disengaged, they were nowhere. Remember, Benji had 0 materials. That would have been disastrous.
He was struggling in that battle, literally farming the railing, which barely gives you any material as well. So it just shows you how desperate they were in those moments there. This, though, the fact that they have zone right now is definitely paying off here. They have so much time now to bounce back. And you can see material count finally hitting a point of stability, hitting a point of comfort for Lecce, Savage, and Benji.
On other sides of the map, too, people are starting to make their basic rotations. We saw in the feed a skirmish between X sets And team built by Solo Mid, the Creo, Bucky, and Kanata crew. Wondering how that finished off and if this is them joining up now inside of Doom's domain.
Funk Mayhill and Sticks, one of our teams more towards the bottom of the standings here, having a rough day so far in the competition. Right in between two major drop spots, the Doom's Domain and, of course, the Salty Spring, holding the northern portion of the bridge right now. This fight is re-engaging. How is this happening again?
How
Zayd
and
Saf, Stretch got their loot back, and they're coming back for Doom's Domain.
This isn't even a positional fight, right? It's not even in second zone. This is just, please leave my spot.
It's all practice.
There's so many teams in here too. Who's the purple team is my question. Savage and them, they're not letting this go. They know who it is. They've seen the skins. They understand the situation, but with this many teams nearby, it just becomes so risky. Oh, it's Arkham, Ninja, and Clicks. This is definitely a team that would get engaged, but I think Arkham knows, and Arkham always plays for the win.
And now this is a real weird situation to be in. As you can see, they're all fighting outside the edge of the zone. All of course, started by Zayd, Sap, and Stretch, who are doing this for the pride at this point. Forcing this Ninja Arkham Clicks makeshift squad to make a move here. Is this the Exet boys coming in wide right now?
No.
It's
Okay,
not.
there it is. Nosh, Zypha, and Jared FPS. Minus Jared FPS, you add Clicks, that's an actual trio. And they're not letting them come forward. At this point, Jared needs to come through. Nosh also meets up with Zypha, and they got the space. Rather than staying put, you know that Ninja Clicks, they've already kind of shown that they want nothing to do. They're not going to push you forward. Just please continue to build a path for us, and we'll continue following.
The more they third party, though, the less likely they are to get this rotate for free if the shots start coming in. But oh my gosh, the tags that have been traded back and forth here. No one is fully healthy. The only one is Stretch on their team and Leshy on Savage and Benji's. Looking at the feed, Reverse 2K finds Unknown Army in the feed there too. So fights are breaking out right now. And still 20 full teams remain. So it shows you guys how these battles can get drugged or drawn out as time goes on. Zayd looking for punish shots from the distance as the build battle goes on.
And all that zone now overtakes. And they didn't even get anywhere. Stretch and Sap will go off on heights. And hold, actually, Mr. Savage, Benji, and then they're still in zone. Hopefully they're popping some medkits and stuff. Stretch has the Doom's Gauntlets. That's been starting to get left a lot, actually, by trios, but it's better than not having anything. It's so powerful on maintaining height with the double jump.
You saw there Zayd already going towards the vault, possibly just taking a listen in to see if anyone's going to rotate through. Doom's bomb flying back at him through the zone. That's like a little BM right there. Like, as I mentioned it. Yes.
This is brutal. No chance here for them to, okay, unless he leaves. I thought he was just gonna hold
games,
him.
dude. The mind games.
I think he would have wiped them completely at that point. I don't think they have any more white heals. And he would have held them in the zone. Yes, he might have lost his life at the same time, but they've been in zone for so long. This is a 2-tick too. Yikes.
These are the battles you dream for. These extended fights that carry the entire tournament in the early and mid game. You don't get to see these very often. Quite a treat. Zayd, Saf, and Stretch really putting on the entertainment factor for us right now. I wonder what's going through Savage, Benji, and Leshy's comms here, because you know they're all animated into you know Savage is talking his smack right now. That's great.
They're probably streaming, so we'll get a. No, actually, yeah, Savage is streaming. I see that up there, so you can hear exactly what they're saying if you go over there. In any case, for now, third zone centered-ish for Clicks, Arkham, and crew, and they had some time to refarm Doghouse and then moved in. Look at the congestion off the side of Stark Industries, the islands. My goodness. We saw that on the other side in game number 1. This time, though, I don't think we're going to stay on that edge for too much longer. I think once fourth zone reveals, they're all going to have to come off.
Nah, you know Fortnite zones are rigged, man. It's going straight to the cliff. Everyone's
Yeah,
gonna have to.
programmed them there, huh?
I saw this one. I injected this one.
Oh, Illis down to Coop. They might actually push on this. They're trying to get the res, but no walls in between. They didn't recreate multiple layers. Finally, they do, and they start to stick. They have 2 players to hold, and all he has to do now is hold his best. Yeah, nothing left for them. Down below in Risky Reels, there's a team firing up. That's going to be a pickup. So Illist, Ronaldo, and Furious get back, and oh no, smacked, knocked him out from below, and they finish him off.
Yes, it actually ends up working for them. Someone else, the shot from the bottom, that little bit of third party there is going to be able to disrupt that heal off there. Look at this right here, though. Chap, Coop, Skittle still alive. Trying to make the best of the situation. Also, not safe right now. A minute on the clock to have to make a move on upwards before the zone's going to start hugging up behind them.
Meanwhile,
just trying
these guys are just edging their way in. There's still the ego fight going on between EU and NA, and it's fully traded. Lecce's gone down, Mr. Savage, and Benji's still up against Zate and Saf. So the duos on this trio are up and fighting still.
This entire situation right here is just showing the significance of not hiding, you know, base with weak material. You saw how fast they were able to rip through the wood there, catch and replays completely off guard. Little 3-2-1. Putting up numbers as a 2-man team. Impressive.
So you mentioned last game how there was only one trio who went down. This game we have all 20 trios alive at this point. Finally, Skittles Coop get even more. They pick off Punisher. Replays Nick A30 not too far away, but a nice peek box, and Coop gets absolutely obliterated.
Benji takes out Benji in the feed. Don't know how that happens. Benji takes out Zate there as well. So they're storm fighting right now.
Yeah.
Literally zone fighting.
So
This
it's
late.
It's got to be Mr. Savage against Saf. Yes, Saf's going to chase him down, but he has no HP. It's a 5-tick 2. Mr. Savage has got the win, but he's going to go down as well. Saf and Mr. Savage both eliminated. No, he has Siphon. He actually might edge his way in.
Yeah, he's
After
vibing.
all that, imagine. No, he's not vibing. He's going to get fired.
He's
He's
vibing.
fired.
No. Oh! It was a snipe too. Not even a moment there. He almost touched the freedom. Almost got outside the zone for a brief second there.
By the way, you were right. Apparently, you did program in the zone.
It's going to the cliff.
Start guys are chilling. You know, I'm fine with the situation happening at Doom's Domain right now because both teams know what they're getting into. If it was different,
They
where
signed
one
up
team
for
was,
it.
like,
They
trying-
literally signed up for it.
Exactly.
There's a great wide shot to give you guys an idea of how people are stabbing up, taking their claim for high ground. See the actual bouncer going off right underneath from reverse mirror and day. I wonder if they're trying to go upwards or if the zone's revealed to cut outwards.
I'm gonna guess down south. Yeah, exactly. That's where they were angled at. So, oh gosh, Ninja once again. I feel like, you know, he asked to be shown a lot on stream, but every time we watch him, unfortunately, it just feels like either nothing is happening or they're dying.
Well, this is kind of crazy because Arkham was actually knocked there. So the fact that he was picked up is actually a miracle in its own now. The Chug Splash is going to bounce their whole crew back into this game. Okay, now it's time to make the rotate. 55 seconds on the clock here. They do have bouncers. They do have shockwaves, I'm assuming, right now. Yes, here it is. Very
That's
interesting.
the new version of the
way to do it.
shockwave bouncer there, by
sick.
the way. They put the wall, and the bouncer's actually in front of you in the direction you want to go. rather than behind you under the stairs and all this. A little bit more accurate and consistent.
Okay, so they get all the way to the new zone. Click's already elevating himself upwards. Arkham right behind. Oh, they actually have height. Okay. That bouncer shockwave puts them right in the prime position for the high ground now.
But on the other side of fifth zone, it's Avery, Boogie, and Jamper. So that duel will continue. You can see the position, right? Direct north in zone means that Ninja and Crew are going to do very well this game. But it pulls the other way. Avery, Booga, and Jamper are the ones that are going to get zone. So these guys have a high chance of finally doing something off of Stark Industries uncontested, as long as they can convert.
And I want to give a lot of respect to Booga there. He had his shockwave ready to take high ground if the zone pulled in the opposite direction. But being that they get it, you see that they elevate themselves upwards so that they are building the anti-shockwave so the players across from them can't just steal height. And that's what happens when you do cut across. You get targeted. Ninja gets hit a few times and into the zone he goes, but bouncing back now. Does find his team. They're all back together. The first full moving here, going right back to the cliff lip. That was 95 meters away from Booga when they marked it. So this is quite the stretch to pull off, especially if they're going to tarp it from the low ground. Yes, Clicks doesn't even have that much material already. Arkham will have to take the lead here shortly.
And a couple nice shots. These are the most stacked Ninja battle games we've seen, I think, all season long in any single one of these weeks. Arkham and them forced to take ultimate low, though, and this did not pan out whatsoever. Ninja back on the backside of this. He takes out Nosh. Oh, might even get another one. It could be Zypher on the backside, but they have to go up.
Oh, he does.
Disaster. He does. He picks up Nosh as well as the other player, and there we go. Shockwave up on the start, but by himself. Ninja might be again.
Wait a second, no.
The other way, but this, yeah. At least.
Wait.
Zone does pull back. He gets back in the box. They can res him. No way.
Ninja's gonna get saved here now by Clicks, and yes, it was Jared and Nosh he got to take out there in a 2v1 on the storm line, so it wasn't for nothing. And the shockwave back, I guess, pays off. He gets right back to his teammate. We'll just call it calculated, guys. Give him the credit. Here now, though, Arkham takes the lead. Okay, this is as far as we've seen Ninja make it in quite some time. Out of all the weekends I think we've seen him play, Arkham and Clicks are leading this team to victory now. Booga on high ground is going to find Av. Yes, huge knock here. He still has that shockwave.
On to AV, just absolutely deleted with that burst AR. Oh, there's a fight for height, though. Avery's going to get knocked out. Oh, gosh. This is getting very dangerous now. Who's the team up above? Avery's dead, and they lose it. So somebody has battled them from what looked like a really good game. This is only the first place threshold that they're going to pass. It's Eclipse and Class, and they use all of these old builds that they had created earlier.
For a second there, I saw Jamper's name pop up in the feed. But yes, it is Class and Eclipse now. High ground pressure. Man, this is their opportunity for Booga, Jamper, and Avery to do something big, and they've kind of thrown the high ground, and now the pressure is enough to start burning through their material as well. 300 mats left for Booga. He's forcing down to low ground. They don't want to be second height. I'm assuming his crewmates don't have much either. Take a look here. Arkham Ninja still alive. Click's still in the game as well. 4 eliminations. Looking for this low ground peak here. Ninja needs a siphon desperately now. 2 shotguns in the inventory. He's scavenging together now.
Yeah, they do clear all the ultimate low. Arkham gets a lot of mats. They're still going to be able to play this, but once again, the zone goes up Stark in the final situation. Good replace. They continue forward. They're going to try to get up. Ninja right on the wall with somebody else. One more shot. He does make it through, and I think they picked that up. Oh, I think Avery just went up on height against the team that took it from them. Eclipse and Class, I think they're still up there. They're losing their final member. Crims has been down and out of this game. So mid-ground fight, they're pushed all the way to 6th all of a sudden. This is a lot of points now for Ninja and Crew.
Wait. I saw Avery fall too, and Class takes out someone too. So Blake is now on high ground, but hold up. Ninja Doe in the low ground is going to find a siphon. Yes, it's going to keep him in the game in the last second, and Cease goes down there too. So the exchange is back and forth. Now, Blake takes out Click. So yeah, they did make it all the way to the end, but it's the zone that's going to be the problem now? What is Click's gonna do here? He's sitting down. Yes, they know it's over. On high ground, Zexra once again with Macwood win the heel off.
And with 4 eliminations too, so back-to-back wins for Zexor, Macron, and Kaukin. Stark Industries, the island takes its toll there. And because everybody is playing so hard on low ground today, for whatever reason, a lot of people end up falling. But there it is. Finally, Clicks, Ninja, and Arkham have gotten to second place in the game and a lot of points because of the frags that Ninja himself was getting. Remember that fight against Nosh early on? Well, that will count for quite a lot today.
Nos, Jared, and Cease all fall to Ninja in that game right there. Cease is the one that kept him in the game with the siphon in those final moments. Here's a quick recap. You guys can see how it all played out. The drop spots, the engagements, the big fights, the extended fight too over at Doom's Domain. Just quite an interesting game all around here. This is what I was talking about, that wood being so weak, easy to break through, easy to track through. Replay gets melted here by Coop. What a game.
Absolutely a fun one from start to finish from the Doom's Domain battle that, while it might not mean much in terms of the standings, certainly is very fun and enjoyable to watch. Even down to the final moment, Saf against Mr. Savage. Both of these guys fall moments after in 4th zone fighting back at Doom's Domain still. What an interesting amount of pulls for this all to happen. But in the end, we end up getting the kind of bounce back from Ninja in this 5th zone first. Actually, I don't think we quite saw this. This was when we had Ninja holding on for them to get the revive off.
Yeah, this is all kind of crazy. Here's the highlight. We didn't get to see it in full for a second. The camera jumped over. So there was Nosh, gets the thirst, turns around, pulls out the AR, and there it is. Finally, it ticks over. That's going to be 2 eliminations for Ninja there in the zone. Still don't know how they lost this high ground hold here.
We're going to get a lot of insight right here for Jamper, Avery, Booga. Remember, they did pick up Jamper not too far after this, and then we ended up falling all the way down the mountain. At this point, Macwood takes out Edgy, so Edgy did get up over Stark, and then at the end, Clicks barely misses out on the bouncer back up. Potentially could have got back in there, but no mats either to reconnect, so that bouncer had to be absolutely perfect. All you have to do if you're Calc, Macwood, and Zex is stay right up on top on high ground, and an easy win from there.
Not only that, they had no material, so it was the shockwaves in the inventory there that got them over the mountain together somehow, and then still they made it work.
Well, there you go. We're halfway through the games right now. We got 2 more, so we're gonna just hydrate up, go for a little bit, and come right back for game number 4. Just like Ninja Battles, we got 2 more games to go. And we just had Zexor, Macwood, and Calc go out with the back-to-back. Definitely exciting, and definitely potentially for them now taking over the top spot. We'll have to see on the leaderboards.
Hey, figuring out how to find that high ground, how to use those shockwaves in those final moments. And again, I mean, Zexro staying alive, healing off. You're seeing it. It's happening. He's getting points. He's stealing away points.
Every single time, regardless. Let's take a look at what happened in game number 3. Where did people finish off, and how many points did they get? 14 points for both the top 2 teams there, Calc, Macwood, and Zexro, with only 4 eliminations in that game, which makes sense because it feels like the Mountain claimed the rest.
Definitely did, and you saw they didn't have any builds up there, but the star of the hour, Ninja, Clicks and Arkham find 7 eliminations, massive, half of which came from Ninja himself. Keys, Blake, and Ceaster were the disruptors again for the high ground. Those 4 eliminations coming on the hands or from the hands of Eclipse 8, Class, and Crims there. They were actually the ones battling up. If you look at that feed, the way it was breaking out, so no surprise to see them towards the top. Here's your second page of the points, the way they were divvied out, of course. Zate, Stretch, and Saf carried the first half of the show.
That they did, and they end 1 point shy of Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lecce, which neither of these teams at this point care about. What I do care about is Ronaldo, Furious, and Illis, 0 points. Bucky, Creo, and Kanata, 0 points. Wondering what happened there, because we had all of the teams, every single team alive in towards 5th zone. But in any case, let's look at the standings. That was a low point game, a very low scoring game, and you see it reflected at the top. We stay tight. We stay very close. Calc, Macwood, and Zexor will overtake, though, over in first place.
I mean, just judging by the points right there, that's very impressive. Every single game, they've been consistent chipping away. Acorn, Jack, and Slacks pop off game 1. You know, failed game 2 a bit. Game 3 was pretty decent. 6 points is not too bad. That's an indicator that they're still finding their rhythm, still in the groove, as is everyone else here in the top 5. Still decent games across the board. Huge upset, huge loss, though, for Ronaldo, Furious, and Illis, though, pick up 0 this time around.
Yeah, that's definitely a rough turn of events for them, and we'll have to try to figure out where they're going to go from here in game number 4. How do they play it? Same thing happened to Bucky, Creo, and Commandments, or Bucky, Creo, and Kanata, sorry. They're such similar names in any case. Coop, Chapman, Skittles in 11th place right now. AV, Rogue, Shark, and Knight, 18 points. Zate, Stretch, and Saf are still in 13 after that game 2. Second place, where they ended up losing to Zexro, and then Ninja, Clicks, and Arkham. They've pushed their way now into the top 20.
Not too bad for a top 14 finish there. The big 14-point swing that they caught themselves here. Here's your last page, though, your final contestants, how they're standing up, how they're faring. Nahil, Funk, and Sticks. Okay, found themselves a 10-point game, as did Booga, Jamper, and Avery. 11 points there. But that was Booga, Jamper, and Avery's game to take away. For them to not secure more points there, more eliminations, even better placement, honestly, because they fell kind of early. They were kind of pushed off the high ground, forced into the mid ground, where they just collapsed by onto other teams. So definitely questionable. Again, you know, they have everything going for them as far as the draw spot. So still failing in endgame 2. That's a big red flag.
Yeah, that we didn't quite see who was actually fighting them on height in towards the end, but definitely still, I think, flags going off for me, and wondering and understanding how this really is going to unfold for Booga, Jamper, and Avery down the line, down the stretch, because right now, 2 games in a row, they have really, or not in a row, but first and third, they have really good position overall in the game. Is it going to continue like that? I think we've seen so many Stark zones over time, especially in Ninja Battles. This could go in any certain direction right here.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, like I said, when you have those zones and they're pulling up towards you, you should be able to at least steal away with a little bit more placement, or, you know, maybe elims, right? Because you tend to find yourself in those mid to high ground layers where you can at that point look down and start to, you know, convert, right? Convert off of your positioning, which we see a lot of teams do. A lot of teams consistently do that. They convert off of those positions. So something's not gelling well. Something's not working here. And like I said, they were coming off. They were coming into this with some momentum in their sails here. And that's why I thought today maybe would be different. But at least in the first half, it's been a little dodgy. But still, 11-point games, still have 2 more games, right? This is only the halfway mark. It could still be at least enough maybe to turn their attention upwards.
So let's look at the first place team right here, Macwood, Calc, and Zexro. They won week number 1. Don't forget, that was the team that came out on top with, no siphon, no moving zones or anything like that. And then they ended up, playing in certain different configurations of that trio. But now they're back. They were back last week, didn't do as crazy as we expected them to. But now that they've gotten rolling, it all of a sudden looks like they might be in a position to really take this in game number 4. They could, if they have another game again like they did, all of a sudden they could be running away with it, but still so very close at the top.
Yeah, I think in their week 1 they had 3 or 4 victories of the 5 games. It was something crazy like that. So 2 victories already. They're pretty much on some ridiculous fashion, right? Track to do it again, possibly here. And again, this is normal competitive settings for a team that's kind of been downtrending, right? Not performing too hot on the big stages, but all of a sudden, when they go online, they do turn up big. They have that stardom, that, championship, that active championship power in them.
Yeah, they won a Season X trios, the last FNCS of the trios mode, so we'll see if they can do it again. So far, they've been doing very well in that mode over time. They did switch partners many times, but now they're back again together as FNCS is just getting started. We are about a minute away from getting into game, getting off that battle bus, and we'll have to see game number 4. This is where fates can change. This is where you can put yourself in contention or all of a sudden lose any possibility or any hope of getting back into it.
Yeah, definitely want to see Booga, Jamper, and Avery just do that. Get right back into it with these 2 games in front of them. A big 11 games is still nothing to be upset over, but definitely do have to check their high ground hold, see how to tidy up those loose ends there, because having Eclipse in class, a 2-man team, take high ground from what was a 3 full trio, and they had loot at that time, was definitely questionable. We'll have to go back and see how that all played out. But like you mentioned, this battle bus is just underway.
Yeah, and I'm very curious to see how Ninja Clicks and Arkham will end up, playing out. Basically, you got to give them credit because they haven't had a single zone, like in either of these 3 games. Sometimes, yes, that first zone edge is very close to them. This is probably their most favorable game so far, but other than that, they've been traveling long distances from Sweaty Sands. Now, potentially, again, I'm basically saying that we're going to get a new zone in these last 2 games, in one of them at least, so which is it going to favor? Is it going to favor the side of Arkham, Clicks, and Ninja? That's definitely possible.
I mean, not if I don't code it in the way I did the last 3. So,
so where's it going? Like, come on.
No, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, the likelihood of it going back to that same cliff area is very unlikely. So we'll see. We should see a little bit of a mix up. I think when the terrain changes, so do the winners. Like this happens all the time. So yeah, definitely. I feel like every tournament we end up seeing at least some kind of a southern draw, right? Way south, way southeast towards those big mountains. Yeah. Who's going to claim the snowy mountain first, right? These are things that we see a lot, and they happen pretty often.
Yeah, we also haven't seen a good zone for the Uncut guys at all, who, for whatever reason, we always see them towards the top of these leaderboards, but for now, they're kind of quiet. It is another bus that goes up towards the north, so quick drops for Doom's Domain, quick drops for Stark Industries once again, and all the things we've been talking about over and over and over are going to come to a head in this game.
Here it is, a little bit of a llama touchdown for Zexro here, up towards Wait a second. I was going to say, towards Craggy Cliffs. He went off track here.
Yeah, he went so far away, and I think that they realized that nobody's landing up here at the 3 cabins. The Stark Industries loot lake, in a sense, right? Nobody landing here at all. Not only is Stark Industries not going to push them, right? Because why would you do that? You have everything you want at Stark Industries. Not only that, they've spotted another llama up north, over towards Craggy Cliffs as well, so he might even push his way up there. That is ridiculous, and this is what won them Trios FNCS. This is how they did well every single week, was splits like this, all the way off of Frosty Flights in the snowy area of the Chapter 1 map, and here they find something else again in Ninja Battles.
I mean, you really think about it, and you look at the grand scale of what they're doing right now. They are putting themselves in a position to have super loot. Like, you think you get super loot from places like Stark Industries and stuff like that, but you can't fake ammunition, right? You can't fake having that much arsenal to put down the firepower, or, spreading yourselves this far out so that you can get all the shockwaves, right? They're putting all of that fate in their own hands, right? Really increasing the odds for themselves loot-wise as a trio here. So definitely a massive pickup here. And we're not seeing any other team I guess, go to the extremes like that. Like, that's very far off their drop spot.
Yeah, 100% it is. But there's reasons for it, right? Just like I pointed out, it's very hard to actually push and run into a situation where you get into trouble. For Acorn and crew, it's not like that. Okay, back to the main event. The attraction of the early game. Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lechy trying to hold on against Zate, Saf, and Stretch. And Mr. Savage has gone way off. I think they've gotten Dooms. They've gotten the card, they've gotten the mythic items, I believe. Yes, they're just going to go for the vault now. Lechy doesn't have the mats to block off, though. This is important.
Yeah, that's a big problem here. And Savage is by himself. So this one's not going to go to Stretch. Not this time around. As Savage gets taken out here by Saf, hunted down now. Shooken down as well, just for all the information bits here. That's going to be the red dot above the head, the target marker for the crew here. Should be easy now to wrap this one up. So you think. There now, Stretch pushing in. Yes. Yep. No shield though. Wait a second.
Yeah, he slows it down. Not even that many mats either. This one was quick, a quick push to force them down in the cave, and it works out. This is going to be, hopefully, for Zate, Saf, and Stretch, exactly how the game one went, but on the other side. They do trade again, unfavorably, I'd say, for the guys on the outside.
Yeah, definitely. And you saw there for a second, Saf is up top too, waiting at the porta potty here to see if anyone hits the exit. He's ready to catch him on the dash. Inside though, it's the 2v2. The real question is this the best way to do this? Like, make it a good old-fashioned 2v2, or use the power of the numbers, right? Use all three of you guys to put all the pressure into the vault.
Well, I think what they're doing right now is basically actually making it work for Benji and them. They've spent all of what is good out of the vault, but again, I guess they don't care about longevity.
Oh, he yoinked the minis out. That's kind of big, actually.
Oh. So I guess the idea right now is just to starve him out completely, Saf on the other side, but Lechy and them might decide to actually push on to Stretch.
Yeah, he's got the shockwaves. Take a look at this.
Yeah,
they're setting it up right now. I think they figured it out. Here it is.
Well, that didn't work.
Didn't even want to commentate it. It was just like, you're done. All right, you're done. He shockwave in. It didn't even get them that far. They ended up right in front of the shotgun fire. It was just all over at that point.
Okay, finally, the first clean Doom's Domain fight I've seen from Saf, Stretch, and Zate, and it wasn't even as clean as game number one for Benji and crew. So this is a possibility now for them to repeat their game to success, hopefully even better.
Happened pretty quickly. Wrap that one up. I guess Savage was probably the glue to the crew here, because when Savage was alive, think about it, the first time around, Savage was up, I think, with Lechy, or no, actually with just Benji. When Savage was up though, this fight was not like, they did not take him out that easily. It was still a drawn out fight.
It was different this time though. Like, it was a quick push from Stretch, Zate, and Saf. Before, there was materials earned on the side of the EU guys, right? You remember when they pushed them down to the cave, when they pushed them to open the vault, Lechy only had 4 builds. He ran over. He's like, oh, I'm going to block it off. This is going to be easy. So we can have a situation unfold over and over like we've seen in the prior games. But it wasn't like that at all, actually. No builds, so they could quickly get them in the backs against the vault wall. No chance.
On the other side, though, Unknown going for a bit of a joyride here. We're smacked and Casker. Casker rolling up now, looking for that elite chest here up front. They're going to go on and split off into their own vehicles now. Just getting their move on. Trying to get situated, get sorted here. They're pulling north, so is this another northern zone? Possibly.
Has to be. Has to be. Max shield here for all these guys, and they know they're probably even carrying big pots, that this is on their path and given to them in this, the way that this is splitting out. I haven't seen this team in their early game for, actually, I don't really think I remember a single time. So Cease, Keys, and Blake over at Coral Castle.
Gonna look at a few of our teams that are performing pretty well here. They've been actually consistent. Definitely consistent.
So zone is north-ish, but it's not as far north as game 1, or game 3 even in a sense, because it's covering a lot of that central island. Oh, this is Siphanosh, Jared getting a little cheeky here coming into Sweaty Sands, where they know Clicks is going to be waiting with Ninja and Arkham. I like the way that Ninja got right back up on top of the hotel. As soon as they hear anything, they're just gonna sneak in, upgrade real quick, and get on right out.
Big upgrades here. Purple pump shotguns. We all know that is the power. When you got it, you feel confident in PvP.
One more switch. Yes, to Jared. Okay, all 3 of them have epic pumps. That is scary. That is very, very scary. Finally, maybe a moment in a game for these guys to really catch back up to the rest of the field.
And I love that we're jumping into these perspectives now because we get to see their shotgun loadouts as well. I'm pretty sure Clicks or Arkham called that out. You know, Clicks definitely knows his drop spot by the back of his hand. So for him to see the car pull up in the garage, them not do anything, he knows, okay, wait a second, these guys are full on upgrading. We can't take this fight. Like, let's move, right?
Yeah, good call. Loadout for this team. At least they've got the shockwaves. Ninja doesn't have the epic pump, but Arkham does, and I think that's the player you want for sure to have the 200 pump possibility. Okay, so this is a good zone though. When we think, oh, more shockwaves too, good find. I'd love to see number 1, Clicks' loot, and then also what Zexro, Macwood, and Calc have. Okay, this is really good on all sides. Maybe Ninja will pick up those shockwaves too. That will give them 9 shockwaves in the end game. Unbelievable amount. That could make them contenders even for height.
Definitely another 2 to the stack for Ninja. He's got 4. Clicks has got 2 crash pads as well. So a lot of mobility on this team right now. You put mobility in the hands of a player like Arkham who knows how to rotate and play that, finesse those zones. I think they're going to be in another big end game here, possibly looking to get a bunch of points back to back. It'll be a first for Ninja, I think, at least for him competing under the Ninja Battles tournament series. We wanted to know about XHAT, right, in the early game. Take a look at them. They're just white lining their way from their draw spot straight to the new zone, which you can rightfully do when there's not that many players in the game right here. Not many players as you would normally expect.
I think in trios, actually, even with the amount of players that you would normally have in a lobby, it's almost better to find the position of strength over anything, find the good splits. Like we talked about with Ninja last time, right? It's about, you know, establishing space and keeping that space a lot more than, you know, skirting around the edges like we would do in solos a lot of the time. I mean, for sure, it still works, dead side rotates. The concept is not, you know, missed entirely, but
yeah. No, it makes sense.
A lot more difficult.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? You want to definitely hold those mountains. You want to claim those spots that you can refarm out, right? It gives you, like you said, the power positions, right? The information as well, importantly, on the lobby. There's no mirror on this team here, though. Day and Reverse 2K by themselves. This has to be, or potentially could be, Calc.
Zex. Yeah, Zex and crew.
Unfortunate for Day. Not really finding any tags here. 1 tag. Okay.
That's
rough.
hard. It's hard to hit. It's hard to hit. So who is that, actually? I would love to get that fly in over towards Doom's Domain. Big note is that Doom's Domain has zone 2 times in a row, and it's still going to get zone, probably some portion of it in third. We had the same situation unfold last game, but not as far away off of Starks as we do this game. Huge boon to Zayt, Saf, and Stretch, who last time they had zone and they fought till the bitter end. This time, they're not fighting. This time, they're kind of chilling.
2 points. Putting something on the board this time. It made 11 in the last game. So 2 quick ones in the early game. That's big. Big tags here as well. That's a shield crack. Avery's right in front. He's got the crash pads as well. This is the box entry. If he needed it. Shockwaves are going to come out once again in the air. Great first tag for Avery. Not going to find the shield rip though. His teammates are very far off. Now having to draw back here. Regroup. Let's take a look. This nice wide shot here gives you an idea of Commandment, Scented, and Edgy playing that middle bridge. Look at all the metal that they have. They have 3 different vehicles inside the base here, parked up. So you know that's their route on out. That's their rotation plan, if you want to call it that. They have the vehicles if they need them. And they're pretty center, so likely to get zone 3 now as well. Take a look. Yes, right on the storm line there. Now the question is, are they going to expand the garage? Nope, they're out.
All right, on back to where they need to go, towards the zone. Arkham Ninja clicks back inside of a house in Doom's domain. It was Mac, Calc, and Zex who we saw rift over the sky of Day and Miro.
So not much has changed. I was just gonna say, not much has changed with the inventory here on Ninja, Eclipse, and Arkham. They're still like big chilling, like from where we left off with them. If anything, they've only gained more ammunition somehow, rotating into the Pleasant Park here. So from point A to point B, finding some scavenger loot on the way in. Looking pretty situated.
It'd be better to be outside now. Like we saw in game number 3 for Arkham Ninja and Clicks, how they went into Doghouse, they refarmed for a lot, and then moved in towards center where Eclipse 8 Crimson crew are. It's slightly better. Clicks is getting cheeky. Okay, oh, that was close. I almost got punished for that, but the shotgun is just so loud. They all heard him from a mile away. They're not going to expose themselves too much. I like the idea, though.
Let's talk about how teams should be on the outside. You see a few big squads inside. Count, Zexro, Macwood, and on the northern portion of the Doom's domain there. Commandment, High Sky, and Scope close by as well. Or 2XC. Scoped in High Sky here. Pepper's in the inventory. There's Skittles, Chap, and Coop, who've been very, very consistent. They've just been outside the top 10 or just in the top 10 round after round, but they've gotten points every single time, whether it be 6, whether it be 7. They've gotten just enough. That's a very, very great sign of a team. You always see it in those final moments, right? The most consistent ones, those sleeper crews. Like, where did they come from to steal first place? It's teams like this that have been so consistent, then just win a game. They strike the first.
Sitting at 18 points overall is Chap and crew. High Sky, Twexy, and Scoped had a really, really good game number 1, but they've fallen drastically. Sitting at 15 points. Even though they've been in the end game, even though they've had a say on high ground. And as we get closer and closer to the final moments of Ninja Battles and the final moments of this game, we're going to be trying our best to keep up with who has an opportunity here. Don't forget, it's Count, Macwood, and Zex are across the way here from Ninja and crew up on the north side who have the lead, but it's only by 2 points.
Ooh, I like that. The 3-2-1 on the wall there. Starting it off with the snipe as well. Just to apply that big pressure for the wall break. Didn't find anything, but still. Good strat overall.
What they've done over the past 3 minutes, though, has really made Arkham waste a lot. A lot. Right? Up on the top of that house, he's trying to get the information to figure out how to rotate from there, but overall, he's probably spent around 200 materials wasting against their ammunition. Regardless, High Sky's found himself a way forward. Unknown is trying to lurk through Bizzle's old heart. We'll see if this works.
Very risky strategy here. As he's getting closer and closer. Yeah, looks like they're long gone, so he is going to be able to steal away a lot of spacing.
I was wondering where his team was because I saw them all alive. Casker and Smacked on the left side of Chap and Skittles right there. Unknown somehow got very, very split from them. And now he's trying to get back into them. Here he goes. He's going to dash for it.
I was gonna say, no way he goes in the box, right? No, he's gonna go ahead and crash back to his teammates now. He gets there safe and sound. 52 HP. So yes, he was somehow left behind, possibly in the storm for a late rotate or something. Something weird happened there, but the zone is now closing. There is no longer time to mess with that. It's gonna start ticking for some serious damage here forwards. Crim's class and Eclipse, though, you talked about getting just outside of the major POIs. They have the strong spot right now, just firing in at anyone that they choose to.
All eyes for me on Calc, Macwood, and Zek up on the north side of Doom's Domain. Also wondering where Stretch and Saf have gone since their victory in Doom's Domain. Most likely not sitting anywhere that far away, although they could have had first dibs on centered position.
You see there, just on the edge of your screen.
There's the answer. All the way up north, you just see missiles flying over the sky. You see a massive bomb. Oh man, they must be having the time of their lives with that.
Look at this. This is a huge engagement that just went down here. Coop, Skittles, and Chap were taken out just amongst the cluster there. Pinched between Mega Dubs, Bizzle, and Unknown's team. And it looks like all that fire, all that attention finally turned into some kind of elimination for them. And there it is. Booga, Jamper, and Avery were also a part of that skirmish as well. And now they're still lurking underneath in this ultimate low ground. They know now that crew's probably rotating on out. They're safe though.
Not in the position that we've seen them time and time again. Up on heights. Ultimate low for them. They're trying to edge their way in Unknown style. Speaking of Unknown, they just picked up Kanata. Not too far away. Here's the rotate from Ninja Clixon crew. Right behind Furious Illist and Ronaldo. Calc, Macwood, and Zex are off too. There you go. Shockwaves abound. Arkham is missed though. Calc, Macwood, and Zexer had a much better push in. But speaking of pushing in, Zayt, Saf, and Stretch have just overtaken height in 5th zone.
Definitely, they stretched straight across. You saw the mystical bomb come in towards Bucky and Creo there, just pressuring from high ground, letting them know, hey, we're up here. Don't peek. Now, from the low ground, Bizzle, Dubs, Mega trying to inch their way forwards with the LMG. Just looking to punish, looking to pressure players back. This is all just a matter of respect and gaining control of as much space as possible right now. Very strong material count too. Great mobility as well. 4 shockwaves here. Bouncer too. So it doesn't matter where the zone goes. They can get there. You can see the pepper effects here on Bizzle.
Sixth zone pulls all the way south. You see Doom's bomb going off in so many different directions. A bunch of shockwaves too. And this is the time right now as they Stretch and Saf have to know the place split. An anti-shockwave. Ninja, Clicks, and Arkham are still in the endgame. Zypha, Nosh, and them not too far away. So the travel from Sweaty Sands, where we saw them all grouped up together, is once again starting to work out for them. But they get split once again. Not staying together with the shockwaves. It's not going to be too much of a big deal because Ninja will be able to get right back into it. But there's another team. Oh, Ninja in trouble now. Shockwave will get him out of it though, but he gets chunked down. As long as he gets back to his team though, things will be looking good.
He's almost there. There's an enemy right here. Those are not his walls either. He has to be very, very careful. But this is what we called out. You give Arkham and the team movement, and they're gonna be in the end game. So they've made it this far. Can they continue to hold out? It's that anti-shockwave style we talked about. The spread now as Zay is all the way up top. Look at the damage that the Doom's bomb can do. That's what we mean by it is devastating on high ground, especially. They're looking to go pick up another victory here today.
Ninja picked up one, but gets traded to Zypha. Clicks is also trading well. Right now, 16 teams still left alive. Macwood just picks up Eclipse, so the team in first place still doing very, very well. Here's what I was talking about with the anti-shockwave and the Doom's Gauntlet. Stretch is playing so far higher than his team, and they continue to play these different layers so that anytime there's a shockwave play, it's not going to be too huge. Zayt with the Mystical Bomb, he's looking for any of these single individual tarts so that he can knock down all the way down to low. He's basically cleared it all out. He's forced everybody to play low ground.
And also, they brought the gauntlets to the end game as well. Here's your back-to-back game 3 and 4, or game 2 and 3 winners here is Zexro, Macwood, and Kaut. 1 elimination so far. Material count's getting lower and lower, but they do have 6 crash pads, so there's a lot that they can do with this. Upgraded shotguns as well. Box fight, perfect. 120 Shag. Gonna do looking for the follow-up here. Zexo just playing lurk right now.
Xset's in the same situation that we had in game 2, all on low ground. Macwood picks up Coop, and Saf also gets that finished. They're doing very, very well, even though they don't have that ultimate height. Zayt, Stretch, and Saf have gotten all the way towards the end now, and it looks like we might have a repeat of game number 2, although Zexor goes down before that even happens. It's AV who takes advantage of it.
And I'm still so impressed seeing Cease up as well, staying alive here with Blake. This is someone who's been so consistent, finding their points. Saf's gonna find Commandment now as he tries to take a stab for height. They get denied, and now that's the 4th elimination here for Saf, Zayt, and Stretch here. Okay, these are the gauntlets coming into play, just at unlimited pressure. Can continue to put the shots down. 24 HP now for Zayt. Zayt needs to opt in to possibly drop something here to take the heals with them. Stretch is coming down. This is the same thing they did last time, though, and they lost the game because of it. They're coming down early. 10 players are still up, Balla.
10 players, 5 teams. Cease, Blake alive, Illis by himself, Skittles by himself, and then Xset down on ultimate low. That's all of them. Skittles will go next to Saf, though, and he needs to take that box fight. He's going to be able to get pinched all the way down. Blake also fighting against Xset, and the bomb is going to make that actually go all the way the distance. Skittles takes out Blake, gets the siphon back into this. Zayt did not pop the medkit. 3 teams now left. Xset still has 2. Zayt, Saf, and Stretch have to fix what they did in the second game, which was go down to second place, and here it is. Xset against Zayt, Saf, and Stretch on height.
Xset is so good, and still a full trio. They are the kings of the low ground. We have seen them do this tournament after tournament. Somehow their communication is bar none. The fire, though, from the big mystical bomb is gonna play a factor. That's white tags. Oh my gosh, that's it. He's burning. I think it's all over. They can't withstand this pressure of the storm now. Shockwave's gonna change that, though.
They go up, get away from the fire. We do have a heal off. Stretch is up on height right now with the medkit. AV gets 1, maybe 2. If he gets this, no. Would have been the siphon and potentially a way to get back into that. Saf will clean it up. And they do what they did not manage to clutch up in game number 2. A win for Zayt, Saf, and Stretch after a very clean game in Doom's Domain.
That was close, though. Nearly sloppy towards the end, I dare say. They came down a little prematurely. Zayt also tagged by so much HP and opting to keep that pressure. But luckily, because that pressure was the reason they won, that mystical fire that is created when it hits the builds literally was burning them alive. Otherwise, they also had medkits for the heal off.
It also, though, begs the question a little bit that Xset did have the shockwave. They did have an opportunity to do something different in that situation. But in any case, let's take a look at some of the highlights from that game. There was definitely a lot to unpack. I think first off, the fight in Doom's Domain was clean. To be able to find the Mr. Savage by himself, isolate him, and also bait them into going to vault early.
Definitely, and this is how it all played out. We saw this from the other perspective. You can see how easy it looked for Stretch and Zayt to just put that fire down and wrap things up there. But I want to go back to that Xset fight. I want to ask the question here. Were they too late with the shockwave plays? Could they have done that sooner is the true question, because once they went up, Sav slid down the mountain. And that was the difference maker there. Like, it really put them all in the scramble.
Ninja did get a couple of elims before he went down. I think this was on the tail end of it. Yes. In a box against, I think it was Class, and then also potentially got the backside of this, but no, too much pressure for him. Zexro, Macwood, and Calc, who were in first place in this game, went down early, slightly after Zexro here, and not all the way with the top placement points. This is slightly before that. Macwood in trouble down inside of the box. Calc just went down out inside his zone, and it was Xset who ends up cleaning that one up and put them potentially in contention, because there's not any of those top teams right now who really popped off in this game, at least from what I can tell.
No, definitely not. And this is where Cease, who's been so consistent in those final moments with Blake and Keys there, gets dived into. And this is what I was talking about. We saw the siphon happen here. It keeps Ave in the game here. The shot, one more was all he needed. He whiffed it right there. That miss from Av was enough to lose the game.
That was so hard to see, though. Saf ducking all the way down the ramp.
Oof.
And then as he's falling off, too, of course, there was the tick that was certainly going to take out AV no matter what, with Stretch all the way on height. So the formula there, it works out for them. And it's definitely one that we'll have to do some math and see. They might actually be one of the teams to be able to fight in game number 5. That's where we're going next. But before that, we have one last little break. We've got one final game, and game number 4 definitely shook things up. Zayt, Saf, and Stretch will take it after really dominating in Doom's Domain. I think a little different slice of what we can taste here at this fight that's breaking out game after game.
Hey, it's the mental fatigue sticking in for the EU boys. You can tell things just kind of crumbled apart. You know, they had the wind in their sails coming out of game 1, but once Zay and crew started stepping up, you know, it's been trending in their favor. I mean, outside of course, game 3, super drawn out battle. Game 4 was definitely a sweep on the rug.
Yeah, that for sure. Xset also doing amazing things. AV leading the charge in those final moments, almost clutches in a sense, and then also had something like a ridiculous, I think it was close to 10 elims in that game, so definitely going to look to see if they bounce back all of a sudden from a first 3 games where we did not even know where they were.
Yeah, and the thing about Xset though, like they've been doing this consistently. They just keep being that sleeper pick. They keep being that dominant team, and whenever you see them, it's not Xset on high ground, it's Xset on low ground, fragging and just tunneling, staying alive. They do it every single time.
Yeah, that they do. Let's look at where it actually got them. It was 16 points for Xset. For Zayt, Stretch, and Saf, 17 points. So not only do they improve on the win, but they keep the elims high. So they'll push their way up there. I think that's 2 games that they've now gotten close to 17 points, though. Looking at the rest of this, Coop, Chap, and Skittles, 13 points. Commandment Center and Edgy, 12 points. Ronaldo, Furious, and Illest, 11 points. So that might be a team who definitely is in contention. Booger, Jumper, and Avery continue their rise and start to play pretty decently, but what I'm looking here down at 8th place, Young Calc, Mac, and Zexor, who were our first place team going to this game, I think they probably maintained, but it's definitely not enough to solidify this as an easy task going forward.
No, with just 7 points, it definitely keeps it nice and close, but you got to give credits to Cease, Keys, and Blake there as well. Another 8-point game for them, staying consistent to the point threshold that they've been accumulating this entire run. So they're also still very much in the question. One pop-off game for any of those teams, I think for any team, honestly, right now, coming into this final run, will be it. It's that close right now. And here's a look at our overall standings. We're about to get the swing through. The question has been answered. Yes, they are holding first place. Calc, Macwood, and Zexor with only 6 eliminations.
Wow. 6 points is the difference between 1st and 3rd, and only 7th down to 5th. So all of these teams are certainly people that we're paying attention to, but even on the next page, my guess is we're going to see the teams who were leading the pack early on here. Yes, there's Acorn, Jack, and Slacks in 7th, and Cease, Keys, and Blake, who you said having very consistent performances, only at 32. All the way down to 9th, we have a 9-point game.
Balla, it's a 2-point difference between 6th place and 2nd place. Literally, it's that close, and that's what I'm talking about. Just look at Cease, Keys, and Blake's point threshold there. It is literally just them getting 6 to 10 points per round has kept them very much in the running, and that's what I mean by these sleeper teams. That yes, they're on the second pages, but they are still so very much in this competition.
Yeah, well, I think top 10 is basically where we're going to be able to cut that off and say everybody past this doesn't have a chance to win, but they have a chance to push their way up in the prizing, maybe approach that top 3 area. That's definitely a possibility. We'll continue to look down the leaderboard and see the entire story for everybody. Scoped, High Sky, and Twexy, who started off really, really nicely. Game number 1, 11 points, but since then, unfortunately, High Sky and his IGLing skills are not able to carry this all the way through. 1 game remains, Monster, and we have 10 teams in the running for first place.
Yeah, it's very, very close up towards the top. It's going to be super interesting to see how it all unfolds. And also credits to team players like Booga, Jamper, and Avery. 2 11-point games. That's what I talk about, getting their stride towards that upper half of the matchmaking, right? I mean, another great game like that, and they could also be breaking into top 5 potentially if they can pull a victory royale. So still impressive because there's big money. It's 80,000. It's spread pretty widely across the top.
And all of a sudden, the story changes for Doom's Domain, for Zayt, Staff, and Stretch. We were basically saying all day, like, oh man, like for them, they're basically giving up on this tournament, but now they're in 2nd place. So they actually have a chance here. This fight is all the more important for them.
Yeah, now all of a sudden we kept, yeah, exactly. You said it right. We kept trolling like, all right, no, they don't care about it, yada, yada. But hey, when it all comes down to it, those eliminations, they're adding up. The 3 points consistently, the fights that they get after that, Doom's mystical bomb on high ground. You saw the devastating power that it can have, how much it can shapeshift the end game. It pushes all the players down. It literally grants them layers upon layers of free space to fire shots down on.
I saw 3 individual tarps all by themselves with nothing underneath them just get dropped out by Zayt and Saf. But that's basically how they make so many teams be on low ground. That's how they consistently capitalize on their high ground position. Regardless, game number 5, the final game of the penultimate Ninja battles here. We've been 5 weeks into this. We've got 1 more week after this, but right now it's a tight race for first in week number 5.
2 points are the difference maker now that separate you from 8th up to 2nd place. A 6-point difference from there onwards to overtake first. Can Calc, Zexro, and Macwood hold the lead right now as they are only 6 points ahead of the competition? It is a matter of making it through the end game and not letting anyone else close that gap. Here's our first place drop. Look at the spread. We already know that Zexro's been claiming this literal entire lake house front to himself.
And it's not even just Zexro too. I just saw Macwood on the radar going way east of Craggy Cliffs, which is their known spot to land. One thing that this does do, though, it slows down their entire game. They don't get the shields, the shield barrels that they usually do at Craggy Cliffs, but this is a big reason for their success. The amount, like you mentioned it, and you said this is basically them getting super loot that's not from a vault.
Yeah, there's no other way to do it other than either one, melt the team off the drop and claim an entire POI close by, or to do it this way. Now look, though, we see a bit of a standoff. This is the most important fight, I'd say, so far, because this is the team that can take first place.
This isn't a standoff, though, Monster. They've gotten Dr. Doom. This is the first time that Saf, Zayt, and Stretch has actually pounced on the opportunity to grab Dr. Doom quick. And I'm not sure if Mr. Savage Benji have the ideas to get in here quickly. They do, though. They're pouncing off on the top side of this cave. You can already see the arrows coming in. Yes, they're starting to fire upon this, and no mats. The situation has been reversed since last game.
This is the first time we're watching them on the backside as well, fighting with their backs against the wall, which is something they haven't quite done today. Not just yet. The vault still remains to be open, though. There, finally, I think Zayt started it. Not even too sure just yet, but hold up. Benji looking for any kind of angle right now. They have the advantage because they have the access to whatever loot that is behind this wall here to farm up, get their resources together.
Important here that they slow down and farm up a little bit, but both sides are doing the exact same thing because look, Benji only has 5 builds. They're blocking the tops, though, making it very difficult for Benji to actually get these lines of sight, so they're so impactful in this cave. We'll see if the inside team is going to be able to trade as well as Benji, Mr. Savage, and Lecce were earlier on in the day.
And there it is, splitting up the shockwaves now, so a little bit of big movement for them to bust on out if they have to. That's probably going to determine whether or not they are going to win this engagement here. Let's take a look, though. They have no reason to be too, quick, right? They're too hasty. They don't have to move. They can actually hold this Volt out. Like, they're kind of chilling here with the shockwaves and whatnot.
I think right now might be a good opportunity, given the fact that Mr. Savage is all the way at the gas station farming up, but they're all preparing. Oh, no. They go back to the house. They give them the space. This is what happens. If you don't pressure them hard enough, they can escape out the backside. They can get away with this loot so easily. But this is the danger of fighting so consistently off spawn and so brutally off spawn. Is that, Mr. Savage, Benji, and Lecce, they're insulted by the way that they played in game 3. They rifted on them twice. That might be now a trick in the pocket of the EU guys for a team that's going in first place, but they jump on it. I love this.
Absolutely genius play here to try and take advantage, but Savage is going to get away with a shockwave of his own. Something you couldn't calculate for, but it was a very smart play to find the most isolated, closest player nearby. Take advantage of that. Savage, though, does get away now. Stretch going back for the big high ground. 1 pixel is going to flash towards Savage. Savage hits the shot there for 22 on the shield rip. Let's not forget, Zayt does have that mystical bomb as well. Game changer when it comes down to these team-based fights. Flushing players out. While this has been going down, though, finally a full team has dropped in the feed. Not sure which one, but 19 teams remain, the first of which we've seen coming into the final game here of Ninja Battles.
It's such an odd thing to see Zayt, Saf, and Stretch after so much that we've seen today and all the other tournaments be on the back foot trying to get away with the loot, but in this case still they're going after it and forcing Mr. Savage and Benji to kind of play on the defense. This might be very good going forward, but still a couple of shockwaves for either side, so this could continue to bounce back and forth. Benji will get closer. Zayt will get the beams though, and Stretch is in the box with the mystical bomb. Lexi going up too. The spread for Zayt, Saf, and Stretch is so strong that they get the massive AR spray from so many different angles. Stretch is definitely in a rough spot, but he gets the nice shot on the Lexi.
With a common charge shotgun from that far, is managing to put down some serious damage. Now it's looking to close this out really quickly here. Saf gets inside. He's also got the pressure cooker going, and yes, he just walks right through together as a team. Take a look at this now. The gauntlet's in the hand of Zayt here. Oh, finds one with a little bit of splash damage. Well played. Oh, and another one. Oh, and a body shot. My gosh. Zayt's feeling it.
I'm wondering if Mr. Savage is starting to run out of materials the way that he's getting away from this, but he does go right back over towards the cave, potentially get some vault loot. Stretch is not letting him go though, even gonna spend the bomb on top of the one escape route out of the vault.
Just in case.
We've seen this before, Monster.
We have. We literally have. Was it last week?
Yeah, that was the last Ninja Battles. Yeah, week 4. Mr. Savage was in the toilet in the final game, but this time it goes in the other direction. Savage can't escape here without ending up being vulnerable at some point. If you go into this porta potty from the other side, you'll stay in there forever.
Here's the thing too, if they get this third elimination, or when they get it, I should say, they're only 3 points away from first place at that point.
It's a very good point. There he goes out the back. Stretch is charging up the common charge, and yes. So there you go. You called it. 3 eliminations, now 3 points away from Zexro, Macwood, and Kauk, and an absolutely clean fight. Once again, for Stretch, Zayt, and Saf, the only thing, they didn't trade much damage or loot or anything like that, but the only thing is they've lost time. Now First Zone is starting to overtake them. We hear rifts in the distance.
What is Stretch going to do now with that gray common charge? Definitely does beg the question if they move into the new zone with it. The next fight might not end so pretty. That's really what it matters down to. How do they play the rest of this game out? Here's Clicks, Ninja, and Arkham trying to make their rotate on through. They're just outside of the Salty Springs. See glimmers of the Weeping off in the distance. So everyone moving towards the east now. More southern. Still trying to get a grip on where the zone's pulling.
Towards the center of the map is the answer. Avery and Booga have got both the Stark whiplashes, and they're taking very, very good position. Jamper's already gotten himself a nice little fake base that Avery will now claim. Booga will make his own. And this is absolute pristine position going into the final game, but such a deficit for them. 22 points is where they were at, even though they've been consistently getting points in the last 3 games. They're gonna need much more than just good positioning, because this right now in Ninja Battles doesn't actually get you that much, right? In another format with more than 60 or more than 20 teams, it'd be guaranteed surge moving forward.
100%. Yeah, it's just different, but it's gonna not matter too much now as they have to rotate across about 600 meters on the distance for the pool here. It's time to round up the boys and get on out of here. Having these vehicles, there's definitely a bonus. They all have their own boost. It's kind of interesting. You see three of the same cars. Squad goals are here.
I feel like I'm about to go to a race or something out on the streets. Ooh, I know we just tuned in with this fight here at Slurpy Swamps, but I just saw Acorn actually get picked up by Arkham, so I'm wondering if that's another fight that's breaking out with Clicks and Ninja.
Trying to figure out who's on the other side of this wall now. That's pressuring back Zypha, Nosh, and Jared here. There it is.
Oh, there's
questions
Acorn.
answered. Oh, it's a big. That would have been a big knock for them too. He's actually gonna get the revive off onto
That must have
Acorn.
been a
Acorn's gonna
snipe.
pick back up. Yep.
Because we saw the position of Arkham, Clicks, and Ninja was way up north, even on the outside of Weeping Woods, so it must be still somewhere in that vicinity, although they did have the truck, so in any case, things are slowing down. A reminder, Calc, Macwood, and Zexro, 40 points right now. Zayt, Stretch, and Saf, they started the game with 34, but pushed themselves up to 37. 3 points away. Not only is that just one placement threshold, but also just 3 eliminations more to tie that game up.
Another important team sitting right on top of this entire squad. Keys, Blake, and Cease are the ones that claim the ultimate top of the Slurpy Swamp right now. I know we're just tuned in with Nosh and Zypha's perspective, but no, actually I was wrong. Looks like things have changed here as Bucky, Creo, and Kanata are the ones all the way up. And Keys and crew have gone back down. Yes, look, they're just chilling in that midsection.
The only team in this kerfuffle here at Slurpy Swamps over the smokestacks that isn't necessarily a contender for that top spot is Bucky, Creo, and Commandment. Or, I keep saying Commandment. Kanata. For a team that I say that often, for a team that wins events, has won in Ninja Battles, I say their name. I can't, for the life of me, get Kanata right.
See, I've never once made that error, but now I feel like from hearing you say it, I'm gonna end up saying
I
Commandment.
haven't made it until today.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I've
weird.
never heard that mix-up, so I feel like it's seeping into my vocabulary little by little. All right, though, back to the action here. Take a look. Everyone's getting their farm on. Everyone's trying to take control as much of the space as possible. Dead center right now. Slurpy Swamp lies. Big explosions coming in. That's gonna force Jared and Zypha Nosh back now.
Dude, there are so many teams in Slurpy Swamps. Feels like the entire lobby is here. I mean, I could 1, 2, 3, 10 teams in Slurpy Swamps, like inside of the actual factories.
Yikes.
10 teams. 8 teams are on the outside looking in. That's ridiculous.
Most of which that are in this mess of builds as well. 2 eliminations is the difference to get them to top 3, which is crazy because that's going to put the brakes on anyone up in the top 10 and then propel themselves upwards. Off in the distance, Creo, Bucky, Kanata putting some shots down onto the first place team coming into this. Zexro, Macwood, and Calculator trying to get their rotate on. They are also in the zone. Take a look. The zone has finally popped here. So now we get to see how close it was and why everyone wanted a piece of the Slurpy Swamp. Big shots here from Macwood. It's going to be 3 body tags for 25 and still.
This is dangerous. I was going to ask the question whether you'd prefer to be on the outside here or inside of the mess at Slurpy Swamps, but I think Macwood, Calc, and Zexro's movements are giving us that answer. Although they do base up as close to center as they can get. They also spend a lot. Should be fine though.
That's really all it comes down to, right? Getting that 4th zone so you don't have to risk moving then onwards and see where half and half out takes you.
What also was they were moving over to, oh, they brought them down. This is X-Sets. This is a team in 3rd
Huge.
place right now. And they do take out Acorn. But is he going to be able to get picked up one more time? There's Flopper in this box. They don't want to get rid of those. And I think they do maintain the space, yes.
This is a massive frag for Knight who needs the siphon right now to get his shield back up. I don't see Acorn inside. Where did he go? Was he picked up?
He's getting picked up again. He's going to get picked up again. They're trying to continue pressuring on this, but I think at this point they're already back up. They know they're shambles though, and Acorn will go down. The Doves, thankfully, the lobby is hungry for any sort of surge tags possible. So they see a body down, instant tags.
There it is. There's Dubs Mega and Bizzle, you can see how they were managing to find the angles there into what is the big mess of builds at the heart of Slurpy Swamp's factory there. No frags for them, but like you said, you need those Storm Surge tags, as it is going to become more and more important. Harpoon as well from Mega, which is really nice.
Wonder who those teams on the south side are. There's 3 players together against another 3. We barely have, outside of Acorn, it looks like all trios have their entire squad up. So this is going to be a difficult game. Not only is the spread thin, not only is it already going to be difficult to actually make any sort of impact on this game, given the fact that everybody is up and alive and everybody has an opportunity to rise together, but the way this is playing out is already difficult too.
All right, Bala, the zone was just popped. We heard the sound go off.
Yeah.
Vascu was down there. It was actually Edgy, Scented, and Commandment who just now are finding their way to that stone wall into the safety here. The zone's going to push everyone outside of the Slurpy Swamps.
Wow.
That's massive. That means it lands on top of Zextro, Calc, and Macwood, who are already down below on the outside. So they're just safe here.
That center position really pays off there. But on the north side, you have to imagine that's Zayt, Stretch, and Saf, and we've seen how consistent they are with trying to mess up anybody near them as they rotate in. This west side edge is going to be so hard to play through. So hard.
Big shots coming in now from Ninja. Arkerman clicks, trying to find some fire in. These are the teams rotating outside of the factory, so it's not Calc, Zextro, and Mac. These are other teams trying to get to the safety here. That could be Nosh and crew, who are really close by.
Yep.
Oh no, it's actually the
Zextro, Calc,
Xset
and Mac.
boys down on the low ground. It's Knight, Avon, Shark. That's a lot of material they just burned through, just getting targeted right there.
And we've already seen them fight for quite some time, and not really, even with the fact that it is refarmable, the amount of teams that were up makes it so that it wasn't actually that refarmable. 75 builds, about half for Knight. Hopefully Shark and AV have something to be able to split off. Shark's going to be the tarper of this crew. They do get in, but... Oh, they get in and also get the health. This is crucial.
So massive. Also because Knight's been holding, like, he has been holding on to these chug splashes for dear life now. We're talking 2 zones worth. He was at 34 HP this entire time, even with the Acorn knock. Yup. He didn't even get that because I don't even know. The Siphon didn't even go off for him. He was at
We've been
30,
getting
he was
so
at
many of
34
these
speed.
overviews. So many of these overviews, but I just don't know where Stretch and Sapphire. I'm going to guess that's them.
They're way north, bro. There was like
They
a
have to be. No,
oh
it's
no,
not
that was
even.
actually Scope's team. What?
Where are they?
Okay.
At this point.
They have to be the easternmost team then. They went dead side, like wide rotate, I guess. Which doesn't even make sense. It's not really a dead side rotate. It just kind of ended up over there.
Well, it's dead side because of the way that Slurpy Swamp's played. It will pull down to that southeastern edge. And instantly we're going to have shockwaves off this top. Oh, it's actually for height. That's dangerous.
What?
Who is this Booga? By himself? What just happened? I'm very confused. Regardless, that situation is dealt with. No damage done to Built by Solo Mid on top. Xset picks up Nosh. Down below, that might be a big refresh that they need before moving forward. And I think they are moving across the way. I did just hear Doom's gauntlets go off. An
Here it is.
indicator that Zayt and Saf are still up.
Trying to get across.
They're
This
down
is
there on the
so
south.
risky. Straight out into the open, and now in the middle of the pack here. Kanata hits the pad there, but it's okay. And it's just to park down. Now it's gonna have to inch their way in. You can see Kanata barely has any material. Here's the Xset crew rotating right through the middle here, just behind Zextro, Calc, and Macwood now. They're gonna be hugged up right behind their builds. Remember, this is teams that are in the battle for first. Clicks is gonna get beamed a few times here on the rotate.
You're right about this. Xset against Team Solo Gamers. The guys right in front of him. That's CSM Zexro, Macwood, and Kauk. But on high ground, on the south side of this, Zayt, who picks up Coop just now, is on height once again. Every time they've made it to endgame, they're in this position in 5th zone. Stretch, Saf, and Zayt are starting to fire off with the gauntlets and the mystical bomb. This is their tournament to win at this point.
They have everything in their favor. Will they be able to hold it out? That is the question. We've seen them make the big mistake once already tonight. Didn't let it happen the second time around. Can they go for the third time's the charm to take home the crown today? Creo's going to find himself an elimination in the feed there onto Jared FPS. Jared is rotating so late on the storm line, so that loot's going to be foregone. It's lost. No refresher for them. Zone's going to pop straight north now, too. This is a interesting one because it's not going through any old builds. Everyone's going to have to build fresh here now. Straight out into the open and possibly up terrain.
There was no teams up on that north side at all, pretty much, except for Scoped High Sky and Crew. Miro versus 2K and Day in an engagement down against Scented Edgy and everybody else. Stretch finds a team to start firing upon. They're not too far away from X-Set. And this guy right here, Kauk, Zexro, and Macwood. It also is going to be slight elevation up. Oh, big problem here that they have to solve. And they're ready for it. They're trying to get the triple spray because they know 211 below, and they didn't get anything from that.
This is really, really bad. 30 seconds remain now. They need some massive tags here. Kauk's going to find himself right into the middle. Twexy's battling Saf for high ground. This is massive. This can hold some huge implications now. Zayt and Crew have to come on over quickly. And yes, they back him up. High ground is safe for now. Twexy nearly ruined that entire thing. Look at how low he got Saf for a second there. Cracked into his shield, cracked into his HP just a little bit there. It was looking like it could have been all over for a second. 1,600 damage above the Storm Surge threshold. And in 5 seconds, Kauk, Zexro, and Macwood are going to have to figure it out and find themselves some massive tags.
And they're not too far down below, not even far away from second height at all. It's Bizzle, Dubs, and Mega who are there. That's scary, but they are going to start to crash pad across. Yes, both teams get away, but still second height for both of them too.
No.
Storm Surge is now active, but they get above at the last second, 155. Macwood just takes a couple of ticks, but Zexro goes down in the process, but with his life, he at least gives a little bit of breathing room to Macwood and Kauk.
They're still in it. They're still alive, still accruing what could be placement points that are gonna get given out soon. 14 players still up. Big shots coming in. No, the guard was left down. This is getting closer and closer now. Safto finding eliminations onto Eclipse. Remember, they needed those elims. This is getting closer and closer to being from first. And yes, they have it. One more elim.
One more elim will tie it up. One more, but still the
There it
victory
is.
royales. There was 2 for Zexro and Kauk. There's another one. They've tied up the game. Now they've just got to close it out. And already with the elims that they've got, I think they're going to continue. Nobody challenging height. Nobody threatening the reign of Saf, Zayt, and Stretch. We thought had no chance in this tournament the
Kauk
way they
goes
were playing
down.
Doom's Domain. Kauk is down. That means it's all left to Macwood. And he's down 2 to
Macwood's down.
Twexy.
There you guys have it. This is going to be what is the victory run now for Saf on high ground here. Look
X-Set's
at the
still up.
harpoon.
X-Set's still up.
X-Set could possibly still do this, but the elims, you have to think, is just getting it further and further now. 8 eliminations for high ground hold here.
Knight just wipes Mega, Dubs, and Bizzle. Shark gets traded out against Stretch, but we still have AV and Knight up, I believe, in the top 6, which means that they could start to rise with the elims just as well. There's another one for Saf to start picking off. The Shockwave up to heights does not quite work out for that player, and now we're up to 9 elims. Oh, finds another one in zone 2, but that was just a knock. Dubs is down out of this game, and 3 teams are left. It's AV and Knight. If they wipe everybody, this could still be doable, Monster.
Still doable, definitely. They have so many eliminations. My gosh, you would have known it was this close now in these final moments. Unknown was still in the storm line. Knight's got to be careful here. Doom's mystical bomb does putting out some big shots. Can he find this trade? No, he gets stolen away by Stretch on height. Av now has to go back into the zone. He's got 7 floppers. He can definitely win this, but frags are what matter here. Yes, he's turning back. That's the whole trio right there, Balla. Can he find any of them? He didn't even tag him once.
No, not a single time. He's going to have to pull out this AR and do work. These floppers aren't
This
going
is
to
too
just
soon.
cut it. They think he's on height. They think he's on height. There we go. Shockwave forward.
no.
One more flopper. Yes. One more flopper again, and he'll shockwave them all out to height, potentially. Did it land? Yes. AV. Saf is still in though, and they're starting to chase after him.
needs
No
the
more
siphon.
floppers now too, and the siphon will back AV an opportunity, but no. Zayt, Saf, and Stretch will lock it up with a 13-point back-to-back victory royale and take this week number 5 of Ninja Battles. What a tournament and what a final moment.
So good, and the tension was there. He almost had it, 7 floppers, but the tags, man, it was just too soon to go for the flops. But when the whole lobby gets wiped out like that by High Ground, by Zayt and the squad, it's over. There's nothing you can do.
What a genius idea, though, to go for that one shockwave that he picks up off of a loot pile and to throw it at them. I was like, oh, he's going to go for this. He's going to go on top of him and try to challenge them one by one. But no, he goes for the Season 3 play, tries to launch him in the zone, and it almost works. It almost works. What a day, though, for Zayt, Saf, and Stretch. They must have gone back and forth like crazy on how this is actually going to play out for them, because it felt like their entire goal today was Doom's Domain, lock it up for FNCS.
Absolutely. And one of the bigger stretches that we've seen points-wise, race to first place, honestly. They didn't start off too hot. They got some points in there. You know, they were in the conversation, but all of a sudden, after game 3 getting taken out in the Stormlight of Savage, these last 2 were massive frags back and forth.
Yeah, these were clean fights. The first game, they basically forced them quickly from Castle into the vault and basically waited them out. In this game, it was the opposite idea. They seem to have the deeper playbook in this case because they quickly go into the cave with Dr. Dooms after spotting him out and get the vault quickly. And from there, they're able to pounce back outside and pick him off one by one by one.
Even the way they set that up there, the edits, and this is another team of the hour, Knight, Shark, and AV. Like we said, they were on fire here. Acorn was one of the ones that he got the knock there. There's a great end game shot to give you guys an understanding. Look, coming into this big moving zone 7, they only had a couple of eliminations. They had about 5. So from 5 to 13 elims. That's a bunch of fights to find, a bunch of conversions to have there. A couple perspectives we can even see.
And there were so many moments, too, that you were wondering, you know, are they tied with Zexor, Mac, and Calc? Well, Zexor, Mac, and Calc ended up being shambles the way that they were playing. They were right next to Xset, remember, in that 5th zone. And then still, Knight and everybody really popped off to put themselves way up there. The one shockwave opportunity, but in the end, it's just Zayt, Saf, and Stretch, the Godfathers. They clean up with 13 eliminations, a 23-point game to end it all off.
I think it's the biggest one we've seen tonight as well. So a great way to conclude up for the week 5 too, for the victory lap.
I didn't quite hear that cue right there, so I'm not sure if the scores are ready, but in any case, still so much. Okay, so we're getting them all tallied up, making sure that they're correct, but I think what we know for certain is that Zayt, Saf, and Stretch are up there at the top. It's basically a matter of everybody else, too. How far did Arkham Ninja and Clicks push themselves? How far did Booga, Chap, and Jamper push themselves? Because there was that moment in that 5th zone where we saw Booga really push up onto the built by solo mid guys, Creo, Bucky, and Kanata, not Commandment. And it was a moment, it was a question mark. It was like, what just happened? How did this happen? And then I don't know where they ended up going, but I know for sure, obviously, they weren't in towards the top, maybe even placement.
Yeah, that was definitely a big question mark and probably played a little bit of spoiler for Kanata and crew who had high ground at that point, right? You just see someone collapsing through your builds this far from the zone, right? It was definitely a moment there that kind of went down. And I mean, you still have to give credits at that time as well for Xset to bounce back. Remember, they were getting pressured by Macwood's team, and they were getting pressured by Ninja's team in that low ground. And Nosh was right up above them as well as a solo. So putting all that firepower in on them, but they weathered the storm, they survived it, and then turned Nosh into a frag and still carried on whatever little bit of impact loot off of him to the end game. But once again, low ground, Xset, thriving. Like, what are they doing proper, or like what's the recipe for success for them right now?
They
Because
got 2 of the best low ground fraggers in the game. They got AV, they got Knight, right? These guys are consistently up there. And then Shark leading the way, Shark with the IQ to find the exact layers, the switches and directions to get themselves these impacts and dropping people down. All of this stuff is crucial to their gameplay, and it really shows. Even from a position where it seemed like they were shambles, you pointed out all the different things. They didn't have mobility to cross that 5th zone too, but in any case, Calc, Macwood, and Zexro fell in final moments of that game, there was an opportunity, but they got split up and then they were below Surge. The plan that they had with the super loot off of the splits all of a sudden backfires when they have to rotate all the way south. Nowhere to get their Surge tags.
Yeah, now that's probably the first game it also stretched that far. So you put this new strategy into play, and then the zone pulls as far as it has throughout the course of the competition. You see how it all plays out, how they fall at that point, taking 10th place there, only 5 points. That's enough for other players to definitely close the gap. We'll see how close it was, though. Up towards the top, 23 points, Zayt, Stretch, and Saf. My gosh, massive game. Close run for Ab, Rogue Shark, and of course, Knight there too, closing in the distance.
Yeah, so I'm even trying to do the math right here. 3 elims plus the extra 3 would have been 6. They definitely would have gotten close, but it wouldn't even mattered in that case. So the rest of this in game number 5, Coop, Chap, and Skittles, 5 points. Commandment, Sent, and Edgy. Yep, this is basically what we knew. Oh, Bucky, Creo, and Kanata only got 2 points in that last game. I guess the fact that they had that weird high ground position and they spent so much to hold it and then ended up not even mattering as it went all the way across the way really hurt them. Let's look at the overall leaderboards, though, with a final standing. 16th place, Ninja, Clicks, and Arkram. A very good showing, I think, from this team.
Yeah, definitely. Not too bad at all for what it's worth. Definitely a huge game 3 there. You saw Ninja popping off in that end game. It was definitely the highlight for him of the day. Overall, though, I think everyone had a couple of moments of greatness here as we are now approaching what would have been the much closer portions of the competition as we get closer towards that Acorn. Jack and Slacks up towards the top really fizzled out after that opening game, that round 1, that 22 points, massive game, and then just fizzled out.
Yeah, and in this game, you saw Acorn get split from his team, get knocked out by the Exet guys in the first place. In any case, here's the top 10, 6-10. Booga Jamper and Avery, 33 points, 11, 11, 11. Hey, that's not bad.
Not bad at all. 3 games. Yeah, 3 game stretch there. Remember, to win a big FNCS like a top 5, it only takes about 4 out of 6. So finding that third, streak, that hot streak there, not too bad.
Yeah. I like that. Regardless, Commandment, Sent, and Edgy, 34 points. Definitely not the biggest showing from them, considering they're one of the top trios in the region, and they consistently are placing top 3 in these events. Bizzle, Mega, and Dubs, finally, they switch off of Doom's Domain, and for good reason. We saw the mess that it was, but there they are in 8th.
Very good game for them as well. Coop, Chap, and Skittles, I think one of the more consistent, underrated teams, as was Cease, Keys, and Blake here. All again, just consistent here, Bala. It's been quite the competition.
Well, final page now. Let's see exactly how big of a margin Zayt, Saf, and Stretch won by. But what a day. 57 points at the top against AV, Rogue Shark, and Knight in second place. Calc, Macwood, and Zexo right behind them. This was close all the way until the end.
So impressive to do that as well with 2 games, like honestly being thrown out the window. They still had that little bit of buffer there. There it is. NRG, Zayt, Liquid Stretch, and of course, Saf there.